Welcome back to the War for the White House bunker. A troubling new report from the Shuttleworth Institute shows that due to Facebook, every potential candidate for the 2040 presidential race, no matter how smart or accomplished, is now completely unelectable. I'm standing in the 2012 Democrat Grid with Jason Copeland. Jason, walk us through this.
Yeah, we're looking at really a political crisis. The Democrats are currently searching basements and creepy backyard sheds in search of somebody who was kidnapped at a young enough age that they have no online presence.
That is a very interesting tactic.
And the GOP has been looking at this young man. This is a 20-year-old Jeeves Jones. He's currently living in Appalachia with his fundamentalist Christian grandmother and no electricity.
So Jeeves has no Facebook page?
Jeeves does not. In fact, he's completely illiterate. And the Republican Party has begun grooming him for a possible candidacy in 2036.
All right. Well, at least there's someone. Thank you, Jason Copeland.
Thanks, Andrea.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live.
We're back. I got it. Right.
Yes. Yes, it is Free Talk Live. I've been singing along with some songs at home when I'm cranking tunes. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, it's Skeeter on the line.
Those kinds of songs? No. You got the Kahuna, the sometimes fill-in host here.
Okay.
He's been doing karaoke.
Oh.
And I'm not a fan of doing karaoke, right?
Or karaoke.
Because
karaoke.
Well, so like I'm spoiled as a music guy. Like I spent a lot of time in the Seattle area around really good musicians and people with vocal talent.
Real talent.
Okay. Right? Yeah. And like people who could sing but also like scream and growl and get a little gravelly in their voice and that kind of stuff. So and I've worked with some of those people. I'm not a great singer, but like when it comes to recording and stuff, I can pull it off. But no one's ever going to be like, damn, Captain, you got great pipes, right? They're going to be like, oh, you made a rock and roll song. It sounds pretty good, right? I'm never going to be like a Steve Perry or a Joey Belladonna or any of these guys that...
Nor would you want to
have. Not with that attitude.
have natural singing ability, and also they're professionally trained, right? So, but I've been working on it a little bit because Kahuna's been egging me to do some karaoke, and I'm not really fond of doing the karaoke except for... I would like to. We went to a karaoke and Kahuna sang. He's a pretty good singer.
Okay.
This other guy sang a Weird Al song.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize you could do Weird Al-ioke. Or whatever.
I've done Yoda at karaoke.
That's what he did.
Oh,
he
okay,
did
yeah,
Yoda.
really? Excellent.
And I'm like, oh man, I could do this song at karaoke, no problem, because it's funny. I love Weird Al. I know all the lyrics already, so the teleprompter is kind of useless. I mean, it'd probably be good if I'm having a couple of cocktails. I might need to refer to it for a verse or something. But so I've been thinking to myself, all right, well maybe I should just start singing around the house from time to time, just keep the pipes warmed up. So hence the long hold of the "and" at the beginning of the broadcast.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't think anybody really needed to know all that, but here we are. It's Free Talk Live.
He's got $1,000 pipes and nowhere to play them.
I don't know whatever you did to the sound, but yeah, it sounds way better.
Yeah, I tweaked it a little bit.
It's good to have an audio engineer in studio.
Yeah, I'm supposedly one because I went to school for that.
Okay.
But no, I'm not one by trade, right? Like at best, I'm a recording engineer, not an audio engineer, right? So that means I know how to mic up a drum kit, right? Get all of that set up and get music to tape, if you will. Even though tape. I know that's how old I am.
Yeah.
Right.
Old tape.
So I could still mix and stuff like that, but when it comes to doing broadcast stuff, that's all fresh to me in the last 5 years. I'm not a broadcast engineer.
Yeah, I am.
Like some of us.
I'm officially a board certified lactation consultant on Facebook.
Yes. I was afraid to join that group.
It's not a group, just a page. Just click the like button, man. Show me some
I did
love.
look at it and I was like, ooh, no one else has liked it yet.
Yeah.
I don't
Not
the
even
first
Rich.
guy. Not even Rich.
Like no one likes it.
You have 0 likes.
I only sent it to you two.
Oh.
Like that's, I didn't share it around.
So that's the private chat.
No, it's an inside joke, man.
Oh, yeah.
Not sharing it with everybody.
Right.
Let's see. Captain's log, stardate 805-192024. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the authentic Lord Reverend Dr. Captain Kick-Ass Buckshot Esquire, if you will, LLC. Joining me tonight,
Steve Classic.
And Richie Rich.
we've got a fun show in store for all y'all.
All y'all.
Not just y'all, but all y'all. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Not a subset of y'all, but the larger portion. All y'all. Right? So
Can that be my pronouns? All y'all.
All and y'all. All y'all.
what's up, y'all?
I reject that. I am all y'all.
I'm sorry. Can you use my preferred pronoun? It's all y'all.
All y'all. All y'all.
You know,
if they're going to use they, them, right?
I like
That's
that.
a
All
plural.
y'all.
That's a plural. All y'all's a plural. I can be a plural.
You guys remember what my preferred pronoun is?
I do
yes.
not know.
What is it?
Can we say it? Isn't it?
Well, you say the abbreviated one.
Was were?
MFers?
No, it's mofo.
Mofo. Okay. All right.
Mofo.
I use was were,
Oh.
but I like all
but
y'all better.
You can't use was were until you're non-existent.
Well, so I like the all y'all.
Yeah.
I think I may use that.
Okay.
I'll have to
If
get
ever
a
there's
pin.
like a form I got to fill out or something,
Yeah.
I may also
Pronouns
choose
all y'all.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
You know, no one's done it. Well, I mean, a handful of people have done it, but from a screw the government perspective, right? Anybody in New
The
Hampshire,
best perspective.
well,
the best
anybody in New Hampshire, like getting a new form of state ID, right?
Yes.
They have the option to just select X. That's a thing.
For like a driver's license or
Or any form of state ID. You
Really?
can select
Other.
MF, no, just X. It's not even
X.
other. It's an X,
Oh,
right?
All
And
right.
so what happens if everyone just selects X?
I don't know.
It would destroy the whole system,
I like
right? There's no distinction between male or female at that point.
it. Yeah. I always check other, like on anything.
Okay, how
You know,
does-
what's your nationality, blah, 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 other.
Okay,
or
but
pursuit,
how does
you know.
checking X destroy the whole system?
Because there's no way to identify people as male or female at that point. Anybody, and they call like, oh, we're looking for an X, a 6 foot X has just robbed the liquor store.
Okay, brown hair, blue eyes, right? License plate number, blah blah blah, right? But
Yeah.
so how does it destroy the whole system?
Because there's no longer in the government system, there's no longer a distinction between male and female.
And so you and I probably have a different idea of what you mean by whole system in this context.
In this context, it's the driver's license and identification system. There's no longer a way, if everyone selected X,
Yeah.
there's no longer a way to legally identify anyone as male or female.
So anyone can play in any sport. Like,
In New Hampshire.
There's men's leagues, women's X leagues.
In New Hampshire,
All right,
my legal documentation
It
says
says I'm
X.
X. Right. I'm an X. Well, I like it.
I was hoping that this would somehow lead down to the road of the whole system collapsing.
Oh, okay.
You're in fantasy
You're
land.
like we could destroy the whole system. I'm like,
Where do
tell
I
me
sign
more.
up? Yeah.
Tell
How do
me
I
more.
look
How
at
do
it?
we pull this off?
Well, I've told you how to do that
Where
a
can
number
I
of
hit the
times,
check
but we don't talk
Xbox?
about that on the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me sign up to.
But
be an
within the
X.
context of identification politics, right? If everyone selected X,
There'd be no.
there's no longer a reason to identify anybody as anything because everyone is just an X.
So we're all Twitter now.
Sure.
Formerly Twitter.
I actually saw Musk post like, "Do you call it Twitter or do you call it X?" And I'm
I
like,
call it X.
I call it Twitter because
Oh yeah, yeah. But you're still tweeting.
Change your business name to X. Like, come on, man. That'd be like
SpaceX.
changing your name legally to X.
It's like when a sports arena changes the sponsorship on the stadium, man.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
new stadium name.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm, whatever. I'm whatever about it.
The TD Garden Arena.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna give him the satisfaction of. He already wants me to pay to subscribe to his
Right.
crap. I'm not gonna do that either.
Even his alter ego, Adrian Dittman, is a subscribe
Oh.
now.
See, and for my personal podcast, we just moved the live broadcast over to X off of Clubhouse. We're going to try
Oh,
something
so it's a
new.
Spaces?
Yeah,
You're
whatever.
doing it as a space?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Or broadcast, yeah.
I don't know. Are we broadcasting on Twitter or
Maybe you mean
No,
X?
I mean X.
No, we're not.
Well,
we're not
I mean,
broadcasting on Twitter. We're broadcasting
could
on
be.
X.
is
It could
Free
be.
Talk Live? I don't know.
I don't know.
X Talk Live. If
Oh,
we're,
but
if we're
I
all
ha-
X's here in
I can-
New Hampshire,
I
X
can
Talk
look,
Live.
but I don't know that we are.
I haven't used the handle in years, and all of a sudden my buddy's like, hey, we should do this. I'm like, all right. I can fire that back up and
Cool.
forget my password and try to log
Yeah, we
back
should
in.
do a live Spaces.
All right, we have some stories to get to, but also let's go to this caller right here. I believe this is Mr. David Ridley calling.
.com.
Ridley, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah. I thought it was high time I followed up on an article I wrote for the Oklahoma Daily in 1988.
Wow.
All right. Well, better late than never, I guess.
I remember seeing that
Enough water
in the library.
Enough water has now gone under the bridge. So I had like an editorial column in that paper.
Okay.
And it was the school paper for University of Oklahoma, which I attended. And so I wrote an article about something. It seems like for the following 30-odd years or whatever, no one else seems to have noticed this, so it's worth following up on. But so this debate about going to Mars,
yeah.
Mostly what you hear is, yes, we should go, no, we shouldn't go, or maybe occasionally you hear, yes, we should go, but it shouldn't be funded with tax dollars or something like that. But what people don't seem to talk about very much is, like, is there maybe a better alternative? And people just don't seem to get their minds around that.
Wait, a better alternative
to going to Mars?
To get there or to go somewhere else?
Somewhere else.
Mercury.
And that's really obvious. It's just the moon.
Yeah.
Just go to the moon, right? We've never been there before.
It's right there. Well, it's not useful. It's not useful to send people to just wander around and then come back.
Are you in Houston with the storm going on in the background?
Chicago,
David?
perhaps?
Windy City?
The Windy City?
Are you driving around in a convertible?
I am walking down the road.
There's a bit of wind hitting your microphone.
Break like the wind.
He's walking very
There you
rapidly.
go. That's better. That's way better.
He's in a phone booth now.
So the reasons why, like, I don't like it when people just say no, humans shouldn't go to Mars or they can't do it, or it just sounds like naysaying. But when you put out a better alternative, then it really isn't. It's really better to put out a better alternative.
What makes the moon a better alternative aside from it's closer?
Well, yeah, that's the obvious thing, and it's exponentially closer, which means if you can resupply it, which means the people you send probably won't die.
How about standing still while you talk to us?
Oh, okay. All right. So, and the other thing is that so people act as though there needs to be like another womb. Like they treat the people are like babies. A baby would tell you, "Well, I want to have a nicer womb, when I leave this womb, or I want to go to another womb that's just like this one."
I want a womb with a view.
Planets are just like planets are a lot like wombs, right? They're a place for a species to start, but you want to go somewhere that has, like, the moon is a good place to. How do I put this? If you go there, you can get easily from the moon to almost anywhere else.
Like a staging platform to get to.
Yeah, it's not so much the case with Mars. The gravity is twice as high on Mars. The fact that there's air is actually a problem. There's an atmosphere there that causes more problems than it solves, because the lack of air on the moon means it's really easy to leave the moon. You don't need like you can just use a linear accelerator or a magnetic accelerator,
right,
or a railgun or something like that to put things in orbit, or in some cases to put people in orbit, depending on which of these you use.
Or a big old big old wrist rocket.
But you got to get all that stuff there first.
Right. Yeah, but the distance between the Earth and the moon, obviously, it's going to cost less to get all the stuff to the moon to do that.
I get it.
And then from the moon, that's like your launch pad, if you will.
But if the reason to go to the moon is because it's so much closer than anything else, why not just still launch from Earth? Like, why put in that step?
Well, because Earth's heavy atmosphere and its gravity makes launch costs very almost prohibitive.
But again, you got to get all that stuff to the moon first.
No, that's the other thing that's the advantage. Once you're on the moon, you have access to all the minerals that are on the moon, and there's some water on the moon, too. So if you have good 3D printing tech, which we're getting there, then you just build the stuff right there on the moon with what's already on the moon.
Yeah. Dave, are you being attacked by dogs, by attack dogs?
Well, when you told me to stop, I wound up having to stop near dogs.
We'll take the wind. Keep walking.
No, I'll take the dogs.
Oh, keep the dogs.
Yeah, keep the dogs. That's fine.
All right, so I'm walking back the other direction.
No, don't do it.
Do a pirouette while you're doing it. Let's see what happens with that.
What about the grocery stores on the moon? You have.
You got to send all that stuff there first.
You got to send all that stuff.
And then build the store once you're there.
Right.
Yeah.
The first cow on the moon.
All right.
I'd like to go inside the earth or under the water, like explore the bottom of the ocean,
like Godzilla versus Kong.
If any of this stuff happens during my lifetime, I'll be surprised. So Ridley, how do people find out about you and what you do?
Oh, RidleyReport.com. And by the way, actually, my first talk radio call ever was about this subject.
Nice.
Back in 1988.
Oh, 98. How many years ago was that? I was told there'd be no math.
1996, I think. I called Charlie Jones's show around 96.
36.
So 36 years later, Ridley finally comes full circle. Ridley, will you sing
Something like that.
Will you sing it?
I feel exact. Oh, yes, RidleyReport.com. Hum, 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 hum.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley. Feel free to call us again when you're not in a wind tunnel or being attacked by dogs.
Or when you're on the moon.
In 36 years.
That'd be sweet to get a call from the moon.
We got a call from the moon?
Yeah,
I'm okay. Like, I think it's an Elon Musk quote. He's like, I want to die on Mars, preferably not on impact. And I kind of feel that way.
That's kind of cool.
Like, if they let people on Mars, I want to go.
If they were taking
if it's
volunteers
like a one-way trip.
And there were no,
Well, it would be a one-way trip.
I get it. But I want to go.
How long would it take you in human years to get to Mars?
I don't know.
You'd have to start like when you're 1 year old, and then you're 20 when you get there.
I mean, they got rovers up there now, so it
can't be that. Yeah,
it can't take that long.
Right.
Number one, so it doesn't have to be a one-way trip. But if it were a one-way trip,
let me ask the magic rectangle.
If they were taking volunteers, I would go, provided there were no
taxes,
physical fitness requirements, or anything like that I would immediately disqualify me. And age requirements, that kind of thing.
I would totally go.
Yeah, I would totally go.
I would totally go and die on Mars.
Yeah. Because why you'd be the first, right?
Even if I wasn't the first, it just seems like
you'd be one of the first, right?
Yeah. The first group.
You would be a pioneer,
yes,
if you will.
It says if all goes well, 7 or 8 months it'll take to get there.
Okay.
Wow.
There you go.
Let's go to this caller. I believe we have Gigi calling. Gigi, you're on Free Talk Live.
You better play my song, Captain.
Oh my
Captain
gosh.
is slipping here.
Yeah,
here we go. Here we go.
Hold on.
We got to get the first lyric. First lyric. Here goes.
I'm supposed to say, let me hold on.
Here we go.
Gigi's heart's on fire. She can put up a flame. Captain Kick-Ass got a heartbeat like a hurricane. But she's taken. She's got a ring on her hand. And her husband's catching on, he can't stand.
You are so cute. If you move to Mars, how do I send a pot roast?
Oh, man.
To the moon first.
You got to go to the moon.
No, here's what we do. We just...
As they say in Brooklyn, that's quite a schlep for a delivery.
I think we can just get
send it over
Uber.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I think we can just
Ain't
get
that the truth?
Uber Eats
Okay.
to deliver it.
I have
then you
a
gotta pay
few
the fee.
things I would like to share with everybody this evening. First of all, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, and I wrote Ian like a 12-page letter.
Nice. Thank you.
Because I hadn't written to him for almost a month. And when I told my husband last night, the captain gave me the correct and current address. God bless my sweet, legal-minded husband. He said, why is he in that particular medical facility? So we're both curious and a little worried. We want to make sure he's being provided for constitutionally.
I know that, I've had one conversation with him by phone since he's moved. I did not ask him that specific question, but
I did in my letter.
He made no indication that he's being mistreated in any way, shape, or form. We speculated
aside from being held against his will.
Well, right. We speculated last night that we suspect it's his refusal to vaccinate and or follow some other, perhaps masking requirement, that kind of a thing.
Could be very true. I never even gave that a thought, but I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are correct in that assumption. Now, my comment is, first of all, I don't want any of the co-hosts, any time the show is on, to forget what I advised.
Asked and answered.
The other evening.
Asked and answered.
Particular man calls and repetitively abuses verbally like you're being badgered, simply say, asked and answered.
Told you.
What?
Ask and answer?
Asked.
Objection, asked and answered.
And answered. That is what lawyers do at hearings and at trials when somebody, usually opposing counsel, is badgering with the same damn question over and over and over, like Scrotum does to Bonnie, and it's annoying.
That's what I do to my boss when he asks me the same question because he doesn't like my answer.
You just say asked and answered.
Yeah, I say objection, asked and answered.
I told you several weeks ago, Richard, you are right.
I've been doing this longer than several weeks ago, Gigi.
Yeah, but several weeks ago, I told you on the telephone when I called, I think you're sharp and bright. I meant it respectfully, sir.
I took it respectfully.
No, he's not that sharp.
But now I can't get out of the door.
My last comment I would like to make, and I think everyone will crack up, I adore the political satirist Bill Maher. I think he's funny.
He can
and I
be.
think he's very sharp. He said something in his monologue the other night on his show on CNN about Mrs. Alito putting the flag of Biden upside down. And Bill Maher was a riot. He said, I thought only pirates did that. Is that funny?
I liked Bill Maher when he was an up-and-coming young comedian.
on Politically Incorrect?
No, before that.
Yes.
Before he got on that show.
I don't remember that.
Right, I know, and most people
He was
don't.
up-and-coming.
But he was an up-and-coming stand-up comedian.
He's a riot.
And then,
he has his moments.
He gained some popularity, and they decided to put him on that show, Politically Incorrect, back in the day. And so then, his fame cascaded upward from there. But he used to just do, the random clubs, right? The small comedy clubs. And every now and again.
Circuit.
Right. And every now and again, you'd see a little clip of him on some late night show somewhere and that kind of a thing. And that's when he was funniest.
Quite a bit of George Carlin, who I loved.
I feel like Bill
Carlin
Maher
was
has an
brilliant.
agenda. And he's very
Pardon?
smug about his agenda when he's
Bill
trying
Maher?
to. Yeah.
Aren't all of us to some degree?
Well, again, it's hidden in the comedy, right? It's like all the other political news talk shows, like The Daily Show
Yes, that's
used to be
true.
funny,
I would agree.
but it used to be funnier when they didn't pick a side, and then they started picking a side,
I could see your point.
and then they're not as
That's
funny
a good point. Yes.
because
Now,
the
one
agenda
last
becomes
thing,
more
and
important
then
than the
I
comedy.
will say au revoir for this evening.
All right, what is it?
I am so tired of all the programs, whether it's a conservative or progressive or a moderate, even the BBC. They're all whining and complaining with a capital B about Justice Alito and Justice Clarence Thomas and the vacations and the free tickets and the tuition and the plane fare and this being comped and not disclosing this on tax form. And I'm thinking to myself, hello?
Yep. Hurry up.
And I'm thinking, until it's regulated by Congress, nothing's going to change.
Gigi, thank you for the call, and you're probably spot on that one as well. 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live is coming up.
Some of you have wanted to support Free Talk Live's mission on a monthly basis, but don't want to support Patreon. Now we have an alternative that also helps our premier streaming platform, Odyssey. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join at the top of the channel. You can subscribe for $5 per month, and unlike other subscription services, Odyssey adds their processing fee on top, so it'll cost a little over $5 per month, but Free Talk Live will receive the entire amount you pledged. Higher donation tiers are available if you're feeling so inspired. You'll get a special membership badge that's visible in the Odyssey chat room, and if we get enough supporters, we may enable members-only chat. This new subscription method is a great way to decentralize our direct listener support away from just Patreon and also support a libertarian-run business, Odyssey. Please visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join to subscribe to our Odyssey channel and help support spreading our message around the planet. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join today.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. Search and rescue operations are still underway in Iran after a helicopter carrying the country's president crashed. Ibrahim Raisi was travelling with Iran's foreign minister when the helicopter was involved in a hard landing, according to Iranian state media. FSN's Stuart Smith reports from neighbouring Iraq.
The reason it's mountain climbers, the army and the Red Cross medics travelling by road and not, for example, a helicopter or aircraft is the conditions where this helicopter had that so-called hard landing are incredibly difficult for rescuers. Indeed, the president of Iran, the foreign minister, but also the governor of the East Azerbaijan region of Iran and also the supreme leader's representative of East Azerbaijan. So a serious political a host of politicians in Iran that are currently unaccounted for.
US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has been in Israel to discuss ceasefire talks and try and dissuade the Israeli military from launching a full-scale assault on Rafah. The Biden administration is concerned about the hundreds of thousands of Palestinian civilians who are sheltering in the area in the most southerly point of the Gaza Strip. It comes as Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz has threatened to resign if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu does not set out a post-war plan in the next 2 weeks. FSN's Sarah Coates reports from Tel Aviv.
This would certainly create a lot of headaches for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Firstly, Benny Gantz brings a lot of military experience to this position. He's a former defence minister and he is a lot more popular than Netanyahu, with the latest polls showing that if elections were to be held today, that Benny Gantz would win, Netanyahu and his ruling Likud party would lose. Now, what it could really do is actually prolong this war in Gaza.
An attorney from Donald Trump's legal team has said the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, has completely collapsed under cross-examination. It comes ahead of Cohen's return to the witness stand on Monday, where he'll continue to be grilled by the former president's legal team. Cohen, Trump's ex-lawyer and fixer, claims that he paid hush money on Trump's asking to cover up an affair with adult film star Stormy Daniels, claims that Trump denies. Trump's attorney, Will Scharf, spoke to Fox News about how he had viewed Michael Cohen's testimony so far.
Michael Cohen, I believe, has just completely collapsed on the stand under withering cross-examination by President Trump's trial team. At this moment, I don't think there's any further need to call into question Michael Cohen's credibility, because I think he has none. I think any fair jury reviewing this record would immediately and unanimously vote to acquit.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
And we're back.
We are. Back we are.
We'll be back and stuff.
All y'all.
If we weren't back, we are now. We're here, and this is where we are. Where else would we be?
I'd love to hear that.
Depending on when you're listening, I might be elsewhere.
I'd love to hear that without the music.
I could be somewhere, but I'm here.
It doesn't matter where you are as long as you're here.
I'm not there. I'm here.
You are here.
This is where I'm at.
We are here.
This is Free Talk Live. The telephone number, if you'd like to call.
603-283-6160 is the domestic terrorist hotline.
If you're a feral terrorist, you could call too. Like, we're not that picky.
Equal opportunity. And if you're a good caller, we could even make a song about you.
Well, or if you're a bad caller.
Just has to be chronic and inspiring.
Yeah, you have to be chronic and you have to be inspiring.
We do have some calls to get to, but first, Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash, Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency made for spending. You can pay your bills with Dash at spritz.finance. Plus, they can send dollars to your bank if you still need those for something. Thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month for the sponsorship. It's easy to get Dash. It's easy to use Dash. And you can learn more over at dash.org. That's dash.org. All right, let's go over here to, I think this is Tom calling from New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah. Good afternoon. It's Sunday, and my wife and I voted today in the 2024 presidential election and the congressional election. Today we went to Nashua City Hall, and we cast our ballots.
You voted for president?
For president and for Congress today.
Really?
See, today
Who's
is
running?
Election Day in the Dominican Republic, and Dominican citizens who are not in the Dominican Republic, they have elections held all over the world where local Dominican Republic citizens can go and cast their ballot as a Dominican citizen living outside the country.
So you're a Dominican citizen?
Yeah, my wife is from the Dominican Republic, and pursuant to Article 18, Number 5 of the Dominican Constitution, I also acquired Dominican citizenship, and it was a lot of work. But, yeah, I voted today, and it's
How did that affect your
people
American
understand.
citizenship?
What did you say?
How did that affect your American citizenship?
It doesn't. Getting sworn in as a citizen of another country no longer takes away your United States citizenship unless it is done for the purpose of relinquishing your United States citizenship. The same is true of things like taking a job for a foreign government. Used to mean you're relinquishing your U.S. citizenship, and it no longer does that unless it's for the purpose of relinquishing your U.S. citizenship.
So then do you, in effect, have dual citizenship?
I am a dual citizen, kind of like Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr. They were dual citizens, only they were DUEL citizens.
Did you have to sneak across the border to get citizenship?
No, I just used my handy-dandy United States passport and went to the Dominican Republic and met my now wife, and we fell madly in love and lived happily ever after. And we went. That was in 1996, and so now we're citizens. And it's important for people to know that if either of your parents is or was a Dominican Republic citizen, then you are a Dominican citizen from birth. You just go to the Dominican government and pay a whole bunch of money for fees. You got to get your birth certificate registered over there, and it has to have a fancy thing on it called apostille, which says that this is what this document is. It's a birth certificate, and it is signed by by a notary public. And yes, that is a notary public, and all that other stuff. And it's a lot of work, just even if you were born a Dominican citizen. I acquired it through marriage, and it was a lot more work. But,
so what sort of benefits are conferred upon you by having this Dominican citizenship?
Well, remember, there is no such thing as citizenship. It's a myth.
I understand.
It's not like some bureaucracy is part of my soul, but being classified as a citizen under their laws means that I can always just go there and live there for the rest of my life without getting deported or anything like that. It's a good thing to be classified as a citizen in a country if you like that country.
Do you also have a like dual passports? Do you have a Dominican Republic passport as well?
I haven't got a Dominican passport yet. I'm still working on that. They're giving me a hassle about that.
But it is.
But
you think it's possible?
I'm not sure yet, but
okay.
I have the cedula. It's CEDULA, accent over the first E. Cedula is an ID, and it's your voter identification document is your ID, like when you go in to cash a check or take money out of the bank or do any of the other good stuff.
Okay.
When you need an ID, that is your ID. And unlike the United States, your ID number isn't a secret. It's like it appears in legal notices in the paper when you're the subject of a legal notice and all kinds of good stuff. It's wicked stupid to try to tell everybody that you got to keep your Social Security number secret when every place where you apply for a job is going to demand it.
Right.
Totally absurd. And then they tell you, oh no, we don't take cash for your what am I thinking of? Tax payments. You get in all kinds of trouble if you don't pay the tax, and then you go down to IRS to pay the tax, and they don't take cash. So that they're forcing you to do business with a third-party bank that is going to require your Social Security number.
Right.
And then they're forcing you to sign a contract with some third-party bank, and the contract says that the bank can change the terms of the contract whenever they want to, and that they can charge fees, and that if a hacker breaks into your account, you're out of luck unless they manage to take care of it eventually. So that is like totally unexcusable. I kind of like my idea, given that it is my idea, and that is to put the post offices under the Treasury Department so that they can sell the U.S. Mint gold and silver coins, and they could accept tax payments, and then they could also cash federal Treasury checks and buy and redeem Treasury securities. And it's the same. It's backed by the federal government.
You know, I don't know if they still do that, but Tom, I remember a time, you know, I don't know, a couple of decades ago where I was having trouble cashing like a check maybe, and somebody was like, "Oh, go to the post office; they'll cash it for you," and they did.
Well, they do money orders.
It's a money order?
Yeah.
Or was it a
maybe it was a money order.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Postal money order. See, that's the other part of it. Of the plan is if you're redeeming Treasury securities, if the post office will redeem them, and you don't want to walk out of the joint with a suitcase full of $100 bills, then you just buy postal money orders, and then you can go ahead and send those out, and now it's not cash, and so therefore it's the same as if you were using a checking account, except that now you don't need FDIC insuring all these banks that lend out your money for a profit, and if they profit, the stockholders get the profit, but if they lose, then the taxation victims wind up footing the bill one way or another through taxes or FDIC bailouts and everything else. So that's how to take care of that, is just let the post offices accept the tax payments because they have a cash register in every village.
That is an interesting premise, Tom. We appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Feel free to call us again.
I will also mention this, the Social Security number being used for everything is mission creep. If you're old enough, you know, like your parents or grandparents may or may not still have their Social Security card that says like this number is only supposed to be used
for Social Security purposes. Yeah.
Yes, you got one of those?
I believe I do.
Okay, and so
old people like myself.
Well, some people may or may not. Mine does not have that.
Oh,
mine. I don't. I have a Social Security card that does not say "do not laminate," and so of course it is laminated.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Like my sister has one, and I think she had to get hers she lost it or something, had to get hers reissued. Hers says do not laminate.
Right.
And she's afraid to laminate it.
But if you're like Steve, right, and you've got the old card that says like this is only supposed, and someone asks
for Social Security purposes only.
Right.
I think that's what it says on it.
Right. So they go like, oh, we need your Social Security card for whatever. You're like, no, because you're not using it for that
for
purpose.
your identification, or like
that's not its purpose.
Right. Yeah, you would be surprised at how often you can refuse to give your Social Security number, and like somebody figures out a way to process whatever it is you're trying to do anyway.
Yeah.
But it's not the norm. Like most, like if you're trying to rent an apartment, you're trying to move somewhere and rent a new apartment, most rental applications ask for your Social Security number, and people just go ahead and put it in because it's labeled Social Security number.
Do you have to use your real one?
Yeah.
I guess if they're doing a background check on you, you probably need that.
You know,
well, or not, right? Because that's not a Social Security purpose,
right? Like,
I'm sorry, I can't provide that. That's not the purpose of this number.
Like it is
using this ID.
Right. Use my phone number.
It is used in the credit check process. So if you're trying to get a loan for a car or a house or something like that, or somebody needs to do a credit check on you for some reason,
for renting an apartment,
the Social Security number is the primary driver of those databases, but it's not necessarily required
because it's mission creep.
Right.
And people just do it because the new cards don't say it, and they see it everywhere.
It's on the form. I must have to put it there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Male, female, X.
They are scientists, after all. They've got forms just laying around.
They're the government. They must know what they're doing.
They're not scientists.
Do we have a story tonight, or are we just freestyling?
Well, so I was waiting to get hungry.
We take calls.
we take calls. We're heavy on the calls at the front end here.
I was waiting to get hungry to talk about our primary story.
But you just ate.
I know. Yeah. So it's probably not going to happen. I won't get hungry again until well after the show is over.
So I guess the first story in the number 2 hour.
Well, we can't do the number 2 story until
the number 1. The primary
done the number 1 story. So yes, we do have some stories, Steve, to answer your question.
Okay. Because the phone bank is loaded up.
What is the difference between a taco and a sandwich?
Difference between a taco and a sandwich.
This is not a joke. It's
Okay.
I'm legitimately asking.
I'm thinking it's a joke. No, it's
not.
Is it a soft taco or is it a crunchy taco?
I mean, one's
choice.
one's 2 slices of bread.
Yes.
And one is a folded slice of bread.
A flattened, folded slice of bread.
Sometimes crunchy, sometimes soft.
Sometimes crunchy.
Right?
Still,
Although toast could be crunchy, right?
It's still a grain.
Yeah. It's still made of grain. Sometimes corn.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes flour.
Right. It's like a pizza and a calzone. It's the same thing. One's just kind of folded.
You just
up.
fold it over. Yeah.
Right.
What's the difference between a burrito and a sandwich?
There's rice in there.
I feel like this is a Jim Gaffigan bit. It's a tortilla with either your choice of beef, cheese, or vegetables. Yes.
Dead pockets.
It's a Hot Pocket sandwich?
That's Jim Gaffigan did a bit about Hot Pockets.
I know. That's a
Hot Pocket.
This from
into it.
This from NBCnews.com.
NBC News.
Reputable source.
Yeah.
Full of journalists.
Urinalists.
I believe it's a soft J. It's urinalists.
Urinalists.
Is that how we're going to do it from now on? All right.
The Wall Street urinal.
The headline reads, Indiana judge rules tacos and burritos are, in fact, sandwiches.
Oh, phew.
Well.
Glad we've
settling the debate forever,
right.
I guess.
I guess we can go right to our number 2 story after having those tacos.
We apparently need government to define words for us. Not for them, because they won't do it for themselves. They won't define anything surrounding cryptocurrency, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But they'll sure as hell tell you that tacos and burritos are, in fact, sandwiches.
In fact.
The ruling stemmed from a legal battle between a developer which plans to open a Mexican restaurant and a local zoning commission. Oh,
so they created the problem.
Those pesky zoning commissions.
Sounds racist.
Yeah, they totally created the problem. Probably by mischaracterizing sandwiches.
You're not allowed here, you Mexican.
No. You Mexican. Well, look, I love a good sandwich. I'm a man of heft, right? You know, you can tell I've had my share of sandwiches in my life.
Sandwich.
I've also had tacos and burritos and
I've had
enchiladas
those,
and, all that kind of stuff.
Best sandwiches are the ones someone else has made for you.
That's true.
Especially females.
They do know how to make sandwiches.
Your joke about why don't you ever give your girlfriend a watch?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a clock on the stove in the kitchen.
It's great.
Are tacos and burrito sandwiches? A judge in Indiana thinks so. The ruling stems from a legal battle that started in 2022.
The whitest state you know has decided what Mexican food is.
When Martin Quintana, a developer, unveiled plans to open his restaurant, the famous Taco Mexican Grill, on a strip mall in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Never heard of it.
Well, so that's how you get famous.
I've heard of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
You name your business famous something, right?
Yes.
Right.
Like
World famous tacos.
Those cookies, famous Amos cookies.
Yeah.
They weren't famous until they started making them.
They were just Amos's cookies.
They were just cookies.
Right.
Amos used to give out cookies like, man, one of these days you're going to be famous.
No,
Famous
actually, no one
Amos.
said that.
That's
And
it.
he's like, how can I get famous?
Oh,
I
okay.
know.
All right.
I'll just add the word famous in front of my name, and then it'll just cascade from there.
Right.
Those are good.
Like
Can you eat just one
we
bag?
might consider renaming the show Famous Free Talk Live.
Okay.
X.
Right?
World famous.
World famous.
Captain has a new title.
The Reverend famous Captain.
World renowned.
I think he's got to add famous to the front of his name now.
World famous.
World
Yeah,
famous.
yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I got to work on taking deeper breaths, apparently.
As long as you're doing your lung exercises, singing around the house.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Maybe I'll buff up, We'll see how it goes. So the Allen County Planning Commission rejected his bid to open the eatery, citing a written commitment that Quintana had accepted. According to the agreement with a local condo association, only alcohol-free restaurants that did not allow outdoor seating and only sold made-to-order or Subway-style sandwiches were allowed to open at the location.
Picky. Subway-style sandwiches?
Hoagies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hoagie rolls and
grinder,
like
whatever you want to call it.
Now that they've done it with tacos, though, they've opened it up to Greek food now. Because now you can get a gyro and a falafel. And
I need a gyro.
The sandwich thing is going out the window.
Yeah.
No more Subway monopoly.
The agreement was put in place to keep some national fast food chains from opening at the strip mall, according to court documents obtained by NBC affiliate WPTA. But after over 2 years of legal battles, Judge Craig Bobe,
Bobe?
B-O-B-A-Y, from the Allen County Superior Court ruled Quintana's original plans would be permissible based on the original commitment.
What restaurants were they trying to keep out?
Taco Bell?
National food chain. So
I get, well, yeah, but Subway's like the biggest national food chain by number of stores.
McBurger Bell.
That's even closer to a sandwich than a taco.
Burger
Right.
Bell,
They have a chicken
fried
sandwich?
chicken, something. You know. I don't know.
KFC you might be able to get, and Popeyes and
Yeah, but
churches.
you get a
and-
sandwich there.
you can get a sandwich
But
there.
not a Subway style
These
sandwich.
guys hate
a
Hardee's.
taco is not a Subway style sandwich either.
Well, it is now.
I get it. But if
Right.
there are other things closer to a sandwich than a taco
The new
that they're
footlong
trying
taco.
to keep out,
Right.
and all of a sudden they've flung the doors wide open.
Does that mean Subway is going to start serving tacos?
Oh.
Maybe.
New footlong tacos.
They got
Footlong
churros there now. You
tacos.
get a churro at Subway now.
You have to wait a long time.
In his opinion, Bobet ruled that famous taco restaurant is permissible under the terms of the original written commitment, and agreeing with Quintana that tacos and burritos are Mexican-style sandwiches, and the original written commitment does not restrict potential restaurants to only American cuisine-style sandwiches.
Yeah, that's a victory.
Bobet said the commission can appeal the ruling.
Mm.
Which they may.
Well, I guess famous taco is now famous.
And the tacos may also be appealing. Or may not. I don't know. I've never...
But again, that opens
Try
it. Like, what's not a sandwich as far as a national chain? Burgers are sandwiches.
Yep.
Meat, cheese, two buns.
Maybe like Chinese food? But
Okay.
there's no national Chinese food.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
Like lo mein.
Pizza.
Pizza?
You fold it, you get the calzone in there.
Yeah.
It's just an
Pizza.
Italian taco.
It really
It's an
is.
Italian taco.
It
yeah.
really is.
A calzone.
Yeah. It's pizza folded in half, right?
Yes.
Calzone,
Basically,
egg roll,
yeah.
calzone, egg roll.
Right, yeah.
You know, Chinatown,
what's the- yeah,
Little Italy.
Well, but I mean, this guy's not a national chain either. So they did this to keep out the national
chains. Right.
And this guy went and ruined it because now all the national chains qualify.
So now Taco Bell's going to get into the plaza right where he is and
push him out of business.
Yeah.
Because Taco Bell is the number one rated Mexican restaurant in the country.
But this guy is famous.
He is famous.
Or so he claims.
His tacos are famous.
I'm not
Get him
necessarily.
Taco Bell.
I'm not certain of his famousness because I'd never heard of him until today.
We're more famous than this guy.
I think so.
Open a taco stand in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Have you ever been to Fort Wayne? I have.
Is it near Indianapolis?
No.
No?
Yeah, it's way further north.
Fort Wayne. Sweetwater is there, I think.
The
musical instrument
yeah,
company,
yeah.
I think, is there.
Yeah.
A friend of mine works there.
You have friends?
I have a friend, yes.
My God.
Friend Travis.
How
He's
did
he's a salesman over at Sweetwater.
How
Come
did
on, go
we-
buy some gear.
How did we land you on this show?
I think I landed myself.
You've got like
I was aiming for the moon and just
you got like broadcast
landed
engineering
right here.
experience. You've
Aim
got
for Mars,
friends.
landed on the moon.
I aimed for Mars, couldn't even hit the moon, and ended up here in the studio.
It was
Same way everyone else gets on the air.
Exactly. You got a pulse? Come on in.
I thought it was maybe because you were wanting some sandwiches and you didn't know what they were.
So we ended up with tacos.
I wanted a burger. I was in town.
I was somewhere. They have the quesadilla burger, so it's the two flat pieces of tortilla, with a burger in between with cheese and
Really?
onion and all that, and then another piece of tortilla on top of it, and they put a little bit of salsa in there to fiesta it up a little bit.
I'm more excited for Krispy Kreme showing up in McDonald's in a few years.
Ooh.
Krispy Kreme in McDonald's.
Are you going to get?
Really?
Are you going to
committed.
get the what is it? The quarter pounder with cheese with the donut bun?
Yes.
Yeah.
Double quarter pounder, bacon double quarter pounder with cheese with the donut bun.
Oh God.
What was the thing that KFC had? They actually had a chicken with, instead of the bun.
Oh,
you
it was
can get-
chicken as the bun.
The fried chicken was the bun?
Yeah.
Oh, probably some Atkins thing for the keto diet.
No, but it was fried chicken. So it was
Okay.
like breaded, fried,
It was like a patty.
like flattened chicken breast.
A chicken puck with a chicken in the middle with another chicken puck for the bottom bun.
And it had bacon in it too, I think, or something.
Nice.
Yeah, they tried to like eliminate the bun somehow.
Okay.
And just use chicken as the bun.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Sound like a wonderful idea. How did I miss this?
Those guys should start giving us money as much as we talk about them. Right? Any of these places.
We need a sponsor for our number 2 story. So
I'm a
you're
fast food
famous
connoisseur,
taco.
man.
You're what?
Fast food connoisseur.
I was for the longest time. I've done my best to stay away from that.
But the prices, it's the same price as going to a normal restaurant now.
Right,
So
which is why I'll go to a normal restaurant
Right,
because
take the slow
at
food.
least the normal restaurant food more closely resembles food. Yeah. Although, I mean, I grew up during the 39-cent hamburger, 49-cent cheeseburger days at the Mick restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
the 99-cent double.
A friend of mine.
Do you have a Dick's in Seattle?
There's several of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one in Spokane.
Yeah.
Burgers by the bagful.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
Right.
It's
funny
like a White
too.
Castle, like little mini burger sliders.
Sort of.
They're
Not a slider.
They're about the size of a McBurger, the regular burger.
Yeah.
The regular,
Cheeseburger from
but
McDonald's.
their meat is much more closer to meat than the McDonald's.
Right. It's 59% burger, not 51%.
I mean, I don't know the percentages, but
But it was a bag of burgers for like a couple bucks.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, you got to bring home and, tell your buddies, here, eat a bag of dicks.
Goes over well on college campuses, too.
Yeah. Or if some driver's being an a-hole to you and they yell out the window, eat a bag of dicks, you're like, I am hungry right now. How did you know, Mr. Driver? I think I'll pull over and get me some burgers over here, right? Yeah, it's the most horrendous name for a...
But the burgers, man.
Yeah, they're
cheap,
worthy.
good.
They're worthy. They're worthy. I don't think you can get a bag for a couple dollars anymore. But
Not anymore, but at the time.
Yeah, it's probably like $20 or something.
As
for that
long as
same
they still
bag.
sell them by the bagful, because that was the pitch.
Yeah.
Right? Burgers by the bagful. You don't just order a burger.
You can't just order a burger.
No,
you wouldn't
can.
want to.
Yeah, you can. And like the last time I was there, I think just like a regular burger was like $1.39.
Oh.
So,
But the whole gimmick is the bag.
Yes.
The whole gimmick is the name. That's their entire
That's the gimmick.
That's
right?
the shtick.
Like, I mean, it's slightly better than your standard fast food, right? Just because of the way they source their meat and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But other than that, it's not.
It's the name.
Yeah.
But you go there or you go to like Five Guys, and Five Guys is like one burger for $30.
Right. People
Five
are
Guys
complaining
is-
about Five Guys.
Five Guys is a
Very
superior
expensive.
product to Dick's Burgers, in my opinion.
Yes, but is it that superior where you're going to spend that price to get that less amount of food?
No, because I'm going to go eat at a sit-down restaurant because I want something that more closely resembles food for the
Still
same
order
price.
a burger. Red Robin.
Yeah, Red Robin burgers
I ate there once.
suck.
It was
Okay.
not
They
good.
are just I don't know what they do to their beef, but it's horrible.
They overcook it. That's what they do.
Like whatever it is, like their toppings are usually fresh and all
Okay.
that kind of stuff, and the bacon's usually crispy and all that kind of stuff. But the meat itself,
Overcooked.
603-283-6160. Again, the domestic terrorist hotline if you'd like to call. 603-283-6160. Coming up, hour number 2, Free Talk Live, including
The number two story.
Don't go anywhere.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency designed to be used for spending. In addition to being one of the world's first cryptocurrencies, Dash was the first crypto project to have a decentralized autonomous organization that to this day continues to improve and promote Dash. Every month, 10% of the mining rewards go into a treasury. Anyone with one Dash to spend can put forward a proposal to the Dash masternodes. The masternodes vet the proposals and decide which ones move forward and are funded by that treasury. Nowadays, DAOs are plentiful, but Dash paved the way by doing it first, nearly a decade ago. Dash is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies and is widely available on exchanges, including the decentralized Maya protocol, and in multi-crypto wallets. It's easy to get and use Dash. Start by learning more at dash.org. Thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on the air. Visit dash.org to learn about Dash. Dash.org. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. chat.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. Search and rescue operations are still underway in Iran after a helicopter carrying the country's president crashed. Ibrahim Raisi was travelling with Iran's foreign minister when the helicopter was involved in a hard landing, according to Iranian state media. Everson Stuart Smith reports from neighbouring Iraq.
The reason it's mountain climbers, the Army and the Red Cross medics travelling by road and not, for example, a helicopter or aircraft is the conditions where this helicopter had that so-called hard landing are incredibly difficult for rescuers. Indeed, the president of Iran, the foreign minister, but also the governor of the East Azerbaijan region of Iran and also the supreme leader's representative of East Azerbaijan. So a serious political a host of politicians in Iran that are currently unaccounted for.
US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has been in Israel to discuss ceasefire talks and try and dissuade the Israeli military from launching a full-scale assault on Rafah. The Biden administration is concerned about the hundreds of thousands of Palestinian civilians who are sheltering in the area in the most southerly point of the Gaza Strip. It comes as Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz has threatened to resign if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu does not set out a post-war plan in the next 2 weeks. Everson Sarah Coates reports from Tel Aviv.
This would certainly create a lot of headaches for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Firstly, Benny Gantz brings a lot of military experience to this position. He's a former defence minister and he is a lot more popular than Netanyahu, with the latest polls showing that if elections were to be held today, that Benny Gantz would win, Netanyahu and his ruling Likud party would lose. Now, what it could really do is actually prolong this war in Gaza.
An attorney from Donald Trump's legal team has said the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, has completely collapsed under cross-examination. It comes ahead of Cohen's return to the witness stand on Monday, where he'll continue to be grilled by the former president's legal team. Cohen, Trump's ex-lawyer and fixer, claims that he paid hush money on Trump's asking to cover up an affair with adult film star Stormy Daniels, claims that Trump denies. Trump's attorney, Will Scharf, spoke to Fox News about how he had viewed Michael Cohen's testimony so far.
Michael Cohen, I believe, has just completely collapsed on the stand under withering cross-examination by President Trump's trial team. At this moment, I don't think there's any further need to call into question Michael Cohen's credibility, because I think he has none. I think any fair jury reviewing this record would immediately and unanimously vote to acquit.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail today at the visit to Beijing by Russian President Vladimir Putin. He was there on Thursday for a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping at the Great Hall of the People in the Chinese capital. The two men signed a joint statement pledging a new era of cooperation between their two countries. At their last meeting back in February, they said there were no limits to what China and Russia could accomplish together. Sir David Omond, former head of Britain's intelligence gathering service GCHQ, is now a visiting professor at King's College London.
We shouldn't forget that President Xi is the dominant figure and one needs the other more. So they have quite a lot in common. They've got a dislike of liberal democracy. They've got a dislike of what we bring, which is a respect for individual rights as against collective duties to the state. And they've got a dislike of what they see as the American-led, global world order. And they'd like to have their own world order.
In their joint statement on Thursday, the two leaders agreed to work together on issues including Taiwan, North Korea and nuclear technology. This was Vladimir Putin's first trip outside Russia since being re-elected, and analysts say it sends a clear message about his determination to find common cause with China in an effort to challenge Western dominance. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And the main news again, search and rescue operations are underway in Iran after a helicopter carrying the country's president, Ibrahim Raisi, crashed. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has been in Israel to discuss ceasefire talks and try and dissuade the Israeli military from launching a full-scale assault on Rafah. And an attorney of Donald Trump's legal team says the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, has completely collapsed under cross-examination. That's Feature Story News. Nick Harper reporting.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Thousands of outraged meth addicts urged the federal government this week to address the nation's growing spider epidemic. During a marathon 72-hour meeting under the Roosevelt Bridge Monday, tweakers from across the nation drafted a 45,000-word proposal to kill all the acid-shooting spiders before they develop the powers of mind control or, God forbid, flight.
We can't grow the spiders any longer. The government has to... There's a spider there!
The addicts have agreed that the best temporary solution would be for the government to issue them large quantities of methamphetamine and steel wool. A local daddy was put in his bye-bye box Tuesday so that he could go on a long vacation with the birds and clouds in the sky. The daddy, who was once tall and strong and liked going to the hospital to play with their fun machines, was reportedly put in the bye-bye box after weeks of being sleepy all the time and never finishing his din-din. Family had come in from all over to watch daddy get dropped inside a cool underground fort full of dirt and sand, where he'll be tonight instead of being home to play Chutes and Ladders.
This is the Onion News Network.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
Yes, it is the world famous Free Talk Live.
It's about time. We've made it.
Yeah. What's the website that says we're number one? We'll make it up.
freetalklive.com.
We'll make it up.
Our website is freetalklive.com.
And according to freetalklive.com,
we're number one.
We're world
number
famous.
One. Yeah, we're world famous.
World famous.
Yep.
The world famous telephone number is 603-283-6160 if you would like to call and join in tonight's program. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass.
World famous Steve Classic.
And Richie Rich. We are the number one rated.
Yeah, we are the most rated.
The most rated. The most
talk
rated.
show on radio. Yes, that's true. The number one most rated talk show.
It's got to count for something.
In the history of radio talk programs. So that's something. I mean, if that doesn't get you world famous, I don't know what will, other than putting world famous in the front of everything.
Maybe hemispherically famous.
Yeah. Or intergalactic famous, like Mark claims, or claimed at some point. That
we could go to the moon.
Intergalactic Space King.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think technically might make him a member of GWAR.
Okay.
Because GWAR
an honorary member?
Yeah, GWAR are supposed to be intergalactic scumdogs of the universe.
Okay.
And they've come to Earth to witness the end of the planet.
Does that make him a member or like a sovereign over? Because he's the intergalactic space king.
I'm thinking roadie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Merch sales.
It's something. Yeah. He's probably in sales. Yeah.
He sent them on the mission as king. Like, GWAR, I'm sending you to Earth. Get it ready for me.
Get it ready.
We have some phone calls to get to, so let's go over here to, I believe this is Milu calling from Michigan. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hello. I just want to talk about property rights. When you build a house or even a porch nowadays, anywhere in the country except for 3 counties, you have to get a permit, and a lot of times you have to have an inspection. And if it's your property, you should be able to do what you want with your property, with the exception of something that causes harm to someone on a different property.
I agree with you.
For example,
you could do that on the moon.
Septic might leak into your neighbor's property, so I can kind of see where you might want to have a septic inspection. But for the most part, I want to be able to build my house, build my shed without asking the king for permission. I see there's only 3 counties where that's legal in America: Douglas County and Ozark County. I forget the third, and they're all in southern Missouri.
So move there.
I was wondering if there's any steps to make that happen in New Hampshire where we can have our property rights back.
I'm told, or I was told once upon a time, that there was an area of New Hampshire where there was no zoning. I don't know if Grafton was.
I think that was
county,
Grafton.
But it sounds familiar. It sounds like that was a thing at some point. I don't know how long ago, and I don't know if it's changed. If there's someone listening, they could call 603-283-6160 and let us know for sure. I have not explored that particular thing. I can tell you that I own some property here in New Hampshire, and I had some work done to my house to do some repairs and bring it up to date, make it the way I wanted it to be. And I discovered that you can do anything you want in the interior of your house, as far as remodeling and stuff like that goes. You can refresh your front porch, for example, nearly completely tearing it down and rebuilding it, as long as you do not exceed the original square footage. You do not have to pull a permit. Once you exceed the square footage of the existing thing, your front porch, your garage, whatever it is, then the permit man's going to come by and be like, you didn't get a permit, and scold you and all that kind of stuff. There are people who do things.
That's a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights.
Absolutely.
Right there,
Yes.
So I would like to quote the Peakless Mountaineer. I would like to paraphrase. Excuse me, not quote, because I don't remember exactly what he said. I'd like to paraphrase the Peakless Mountaineer. If they can infringe upon it and take it away from you, 'tis not a right.
Yeah.
So if you accept
Live
the fact
free or
that,
die, right?
well, then defend it, brother. Like, that's the other side of the coin.
Would you recommend moving to New Hampshire? The way I view it, all right, seems like there's a lot more freedom-minded people in New Hampshire. Although there are good laws in other states that I'd like to see implemented in New Hampshire, it seems like New Hampshire is going to increasingly come into a better, more free state, where Missouri is probably going the opposite direction due to St. Louis and stuff. I'm in a state that's about in the middle, and it's really encroaching on our rights, like red flag laws and all kinds of crap. And I'm just thinking, I need to move before the death squads come for me, kind of, so to speak.
So the part of the thing with people deciding to move to New Hampshire is they have like special issues that New Hampshire hasn't covered yet, right? Like marijuana is still not legal in New Hampshire. And there are people that will like, well, I'm going to stay in Colorado until such a time as New Hampshire legalizes this marvelous weed, and then I shall move.
Well, so what the other states have done is to say it's legalized is sort of a misnomer. What they've done is
I don't want to play the semantics.
Governmentized.
Okay. There are people that have said that.
No, that's true. Yeah.
And the response from those here in New Hampshire, right, is get over here and start making that part of your activism is to make that change.
Right. That's the right answer.
So if you want
Be
to
the
have
change you want to see, right?
Sure,
Bingo.
but if your one issue is like property rights, and you know of 3 counties where you can do what you want, right? If that's the most important thing for you, you ought to move there. But then you're sacrificing so much more by doing so, where you could move here, sacrifice that property rights, and just accept that you don't have any for a short time being, depending how much people are involved in this particular vein of activism.
So you recommend go along to get along, just get the permit. It's not as bad as other states, and then just get along and hope that we can change it in the future, not protest it.
I don't want to say recommend, but that's an option.
Yeah,
right? There are people that won't pay their property taxes here, and the government comes and takes their property. Do you want that to be your case? Like, do you want to martyr yourself and die on that hill?
Die on the hill, right?
Live free or die. You said it, right? That's the motto.
If everyone felt that way, the government couldn't do anything because they'd come in, things would happen, shall we say, and then they know that when they go to the next place, the same thing's going to happen.
Well, and that's why I've also pitched the idea of communal defense, right? Like,
and then you see your neighbor being like, "Oh, that guy's bold. He didn't get a permit. He didn't get in trouble because they called the government's bluff. They're not going to do anything." So,
but the government's not going to bluff. They're going to do something. They're going to do it one-on-one, right? This is like the folly of the whole January 6th thing. I don't want to talk about that necessarily.
Divide and conquer.
Right. They let everyone rush the Capitol, and then after everything settled down, they went and arrested everybody one-on-one. Right. And so if you do that sort of activism here, even if you get like 3 people to like come to your house and defend it against the encroaching government agent, once they leave, they're going to get you. And then they're going to go to the next house and get them.
Yeah, the government can wait, and the government has what seems to be unlimited resources.
Right. They shall not take my guns.
Stolen.
Until they went through Katrina and took everyone's guns, house by house.
So are you in a state now where you pay sales tax and income tax?
Yes.
Okay, so
I know New Hampshire in many ways are going to be better. It's only going to be worse in a couple ways.
Right. So
one party versus two party. I don't really care too much about that. The recording laws. Few things we have here that not in New Hampshire, but for the most part, New Hampshire has a lot more freedom. Like you can go to Cato and et cetera.
I have talked to people
better.
who claim to be New Hampshire representatives, and the only idea I have pitched them, because I'm not an in the system guy, is like just propose laws that make things free here that you're already free to do elsewhere.
Right.
Right. Like if that system of property rights works in 3 counties in Missouri, and they're not burning everything down and pig farms popping up next to residences everywhere,
adopt that.
Then adopt that here. So everything that's more free elsewhere, New Hampshire should just adopt.
Right.
Yeah, I think
it will be so much more free just doing that.
Right. They've already proved that it works in these 3 counties.
Right. It might be beneficial.
Township level, county level you're talking about, or are you talking about actually like
state level, county level? I don't care.
Whatever level is important to you. I think it might be an idea for somebody, maybe you, somebody like you who's interested in this, to move to New Hampshire and fight to get that accomplished.
If that's your plan.
Yeah.
But there's less cities in New Hampshire. Big cities.
There's really one.
It's right. It's rural out here. The building inspectors are pretty cool. It's not tyranny. Like I came from Connecticut. I'm a political refugee from Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're tough, like real tough with building anything there. You're 51 feet away from the water. You have to be 75 feet.
Right.
Where here it's like, well, you're beautifying your yard. It's okay. It's just a different mentality when it comes to building things.
And because of the political structure, if there's any law you want to change, you'll have a better chance changing it here than just about anywhere else.
And changing it on a local level, a smaller town. You can run for dog catcher and then chief librarian, then you can run for select board, and then you can run for zoning, and then change the zoning if you'd like.
Are they pretty open when you go to get a permit about unique designs, like a dome constructed of steel and then poured with concrete that's more strong than any stick home, but doesn't fit their little cookie cutter status philosophy of building?
I'm currently in the process of building a house in New Hampshire. It's taking a long time just because of the the culture of mediocrity.
Yes.
Statism?
But no, culture of mediocrity. But anyway, I presented my plans for my house on just some 8 by 10 sheets of paper, just rough drawings. And they're like, all right, cool with that. That looks good. Building inspector comes out, checks things out. He's really good. He'll look at things and just say, hey, this needs that. You just want to tighten this thing up, tighten that thing up, and that's pretty much it.
I can tell you that there are domed structures here in New Hampshire for a fact.
Geodesic domes?
I've been to them, or at least
nice.
Yep. So I mean, I don't know. For me, I don't know enough about the construction, the zoning laws, permits, and all that kind of stuff to tell you more. It sounds like you're deeper into it than I am right now because of your interest in building your own home, and that's great.
Well, but again, also know this, because of the political structure of New Hampshire, if you call like the town hall, there's only like 3 people in that office, and they answer the phone.
They are helpful. Yes, it is unbelievable how helpful my town hall is compared to Connecticut. Hey, well, anything we could do to help you out, it's incredible. So if you're looking for a piece of property in New Hampshire, go to Porcupine Real Estate, but they may be a good,
That might be a good resource, or they might at least be able to point you in the right direction to find, a county that's suitable for what you have in mind.
Yeah, call Mark Warden at Porcupine.
There might be like a list of top counties and towns for people who want to have building flexibility.
Yep.
And if you find a piece of property that you like, whatever town it's in, call the town hall and say, can I talk to the building inspector or, planning and zoning?
And if they're not in the office, they'll call you back within like a day or two. There's red tape. There's not nearly as much red tape as you're probably used to.
All right. Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
All right. So I just graduated with an associate's degree in automation. I'm kind of wondering, is there a lot of robots and PLCs and factory automation that needs to be done in New Hampshire? Is that a good state to move to as far as jobs go, or
robotics?
I want to say no.
Yeah,
you're probably going to end up
automation.
in Boston. commuting down to Boston.
Yeah, Boston. Yeah, if you live over near Boston's trash can, that's probably your best bet.
Like Nashua.
Yeah.
To commute to a city that's in a different state.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, the traffic is horrible.
Well,
that's the same problem I'm looking at in Missouri. I'd have to go to Springfield, which is like an hour north.
Springfield.
Yep. You're not going to find a lot of that type of jobs in the rural areas of New Hampshire. Like the biggest city in New Hampshire is only 100,000 people.
The big city.
That's the big city.
The big city of Manchester.
The most populated city in New Hampshire is only 100,000 people.
Is it a great state to open your own business as far as if you wanted to open a factory or something, making 3D printers, that kind of thing? Or
probably.
Yeah. I'm told yes. You know how like some businesses, if you see like television commercials for them, they'll be incorporated in some state that
Delaware.
That kind of place.
Delaware.
I'm told that some businesses will incorporate in New Hampshire for some specific reasons. I don't know what they might be.
It's like $100 to get your LLC.
Right.
That's not bad. Here it was like 800, and that was in 2005. So.
Well, hey, Mailu, thank you for the call, and let us know, how things turn out if you end up moving here and what information you find out. Feel free to follow up. Call us
Come
again.
to one of the meetups and network with people.
We
It's a bunch of
appreciate
nerds. Love that robotic stuff. They
They
play Dungeons and
Penguin
Dragons.
would go nuts. So I got to fix my Linux computer.
All right.
Hey, call back and get a song written about you.
We did promise a number 2 story.
The number two story.
No song for this one.
Just wait.
Big changes coming.
I'm afraid of what, it may not be radio safe if we put one together.
Yep. That's
we can put the bleeps in there. It might be more funny.
I would play one of my parody songs that are fitting for a number 2 story, but I also share the same concern of their possible. Like, I think one of them doesn't have any cuss words in it, but I think it has the description of the thing that we're also not supposed to say on the radio. So, yeah. Anyway, this from is it really from people.com?
Screwupyourlifemagazine.com.
Like People magazine,
reputable source,
which isn't about people.
Very good urinalist.
Urinalists over at People.
A woman. Oh my gosh.
A woman. That's where you got hung up on the
story.
Right
there, we got a problem.
I was reading
male,
forward.
female, X.
I was reading forward in the headline here, and I had to stop for a minute because this headline is.
Please do share with us.
Wow. Woman gets DIY poop transplant, ingests pills with brother's fecal matter to combat IBS symptoms.
We've talked about this general theory a number of times.
Yeah, I think this was a previous, not this story, because this is a fresh one.
Right, but a previous topic.
It's a fresh number 2.
Right.
Yes.
It was along the same
we've been moved
track.
by this topic
yes.
before.
It's in the same track.
I thought it was a suppository the last time. She's actually swallowing pills of her brother's.
We're the only show that has guts to cover this.
Let it out, Captain.
In a new Netflix documentary, Danielle Kepke attempts to rebalance the bacteria in her gut, by ingesting fecal transplant pills from her brother's stools. Now, what?
It's a Netflix documentary.
Yeah, why would you want it, first of all, why would you want to take the pills of anybody's stools?
To rebalance your gut bacteria.
Okay, why specifically her brother's?
Maybe they're
read the story.
Similar.
I'm just asking the questions here. I don't expect you guys to have the answers.
I'm speculating.
Just an opinion.
Okay.
Not a speculum. Speculating.
Speculum daydream?
Those can be used for number 2.
Danielle Kepke is recounting her experience with fecal microbiota transplants or a DIY poop transplant after struggling for years with irritable bowel syndrome.
IBS.
I'm a little tongue-tied by this thing.
You're a little irritable.
In the Netflix new documentary, Hack Your Health, The Secrets to Your Gut, Kepke said that she began experiencing indigestion, stabbing pains from trapped gas, and severe constipation during her college years.
Just overdose on Mylanta or whatever. What was the one from last?
Maalox?
Yeah, Maalox.
Maalox? No.
What was it?
Matox.
Starts
Someone
with
with
an
an M. Malox, Matox.
Starts with an M.
Someone out there is like screaming at the radio now. I know what that product
You
is.
idiots can't even remember the damn
Malox.
name.
No, it's not Malox.
Whatever it was we talked about last week. Just overdose on that.
It's really hard for me to remember what it was like to eat food before it became associated with anxiety and pain and discomfort, Kepke, a doctoral student in clinical psychology, said in the film.
Oh, smart pants.
After 5 years of doctor's appointments and antibiotics that don't work, Kepke turned to fecal microbiota. According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, this procedure involves collecting feces, also known as a stool or poop. Thanks.
Is that really in the article?
Wow.
It's really in the article.
Also known as. Wow.
Also known as.
They know their
stool or
audience.
poop.
What is this feces they're talking about? I can't read this.
We've got to dumb it down.
It's foreign.
To like the 6th grade level.
People is now speaking French.
According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, this procedure involves collecting feces from a healthy donor and introducing them into an ill patient's gastrointestinal tract. Transferring fecal bacteria and other microbes from a healthy individual to someone who is ill can help restore the balance of bacteria in the intestines.
See?
With fecal microbiome transplants, there is really compelling evidence, but the science is still developing. We're still working on if it actually has benefits for a wider population and if the benefit is long-lasting. Jack Gilbert, a microbial ecologist at UC San Diego, said in the documentary. While initially turned off by the suggestion,
you don't say.
Kepke, who felt like she had exhausted all other options, proceeded with the procedure. Wow.
Yeah.
Initially, she ingested fecal transplant pills from her brother's donated stools.
Oh, man.
Now, that's an uncomfortable conversation to
Can
have
you
with
imagine
your
the burp?
sibling.
Oh.
No, just like...
Can you imagine the burp?
Just
Like,
imagine that conversation. Look, you're my brother, and
I need you to fill up these little capsules with...
I know you love me, and you said you'd do anything for me because, you love me as your sister or whatever. And he goes, sure, sis, what is it? And she goes, well...
Are you sitting down? Because I need you to sit down.
Yeah. I can't say what I was about to say.
Fill up this capsule.
Fill up this capsule.
Prospective donors should not have had any antibiotic exposure in the past 6 months, according to Johns Hopkins. They should not be immunocompromised or at risk for infectious diseases and should not live with any chronic gastrointestinal disorders such as inflammatory bowel disease.
Mm.
Is that when your bowels catch on fire?
Inflammatory.
Gets inflamed.
After starting the
Are they
procedure...
not trying probiotics? Like, probiotics was a big health thing for a little while.
amateur biotics?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Or yogurt. I don't know.
Same
Yogurt
idea.
is the same kind of thing, right?
Lactose intolerant.
I wish our medical correspondent Angie was here, but
yeah, we did see our other medical correspondent Nikki at the dinner tonight with the
little Phoebe
with the little newborn and
little Phoebes
and co. They were quite the little tribe, right?
With mom.
Anyway, after starting the procedure, Kepke gained weight and suffered hormonal acne similar to her brother's.
That's a little weird.
Now, was it just the hormonal acne that was similar, or was the weight gain also similar to her brother's? Gilbert later informed Business Insider that the bacteria present on a patient's stool can influence the recipient's body. We've got more on this particular...
I need the poop of a skinny, handsome guy.
Number 2 story coming up here on Free Talk Live, 603-283-6160. Don't go anywhere.
So, Shelby, let's start with you. You say that our bogs and marshes should actually be paved over.
That's right. Absolutely, Brooke. These things are nothing but dead body dumping pits that make life easy for murderers. And it's disgusting to me that sickos like Mr. Popkin actually want to protect these things.
All right, well, Mr. Popkin, how do you respond to this?
Bogs and marshes are important ecosystems that should be protected. I mean, they're already being endangered.
Whoa, excuse me. As long as these human landfills remain open for business, what we're essentially saying to the criminal element is, sure, do whatever you like, and throw the evidence here in this federally protected black hole.
I testified before Senator Chuck Grassley, who wanted to lift federal protection on these lands, and what I told him is exactly what I'm going to tell you now.
And where is Chuck Grassley right now, sir? Could it be that he's sitting at the bottom of a bog somewhere? Why else would you be so hot on these wetlands if you aren't a murderer yourself?
This is the Onion News Network.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. Search and rescue operations are still underway in Iran after a helicopter carrying the country's president crashed. Ibrahim Raisi was travelling with Iran's foreign minister when the helicopter was involved in a hard landing, according to Iranian state media. Everson Stuart Smith reports from neighbouring Iraq.
The reason it's mountain climbers, the Army and the Red Cross medics travelling by road and not, for example, a helicopter or aircraft is the conditions where this helicopter had that so-called hard landing are incredibly difficult for rescuers. Indeed, the president of Iran, the foreign minister, but also the governor of the East Azerbaijan region of Iran and also the supreme leader's representative of East Azerbaijan. So a serious political a host of politicians in Iran that are currently unaccounted for.
US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has been in Israel to discuss ceasefire talks and try and dissuade the Israeli military from launching a full-scale assault on Rafah. The Biden administration is concerned about the hundreds of thousands of Palestinian civilians who are sheltering in the area in the most southerly point of the Gaza Strip. It comes as Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz has threatened to resign if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu does not set out a post-war plan in the next 2 weeks. Everson Sarah Coates reports from Tel Aviv.
This would certainly create a lot of headaches for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Firstly, Benny Gantz brings a lot of military experience to this position. He's a former defence minister and he is a lot more popular than Netanyahu, with the latest polls showing that if elections were to be held today, that Benny Gantz would win, Netanyahu and his ruling Likud party would lose. Now, what it could really do is actually prolong this war in Gaza.
An attorney from Donald Trump's legal team has said the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, has completely collapsed under cross-examination. It comes ahead of Cohen's return to the witness stand on Monday, where he'll continue to be grilled by the former president's legal team. Cohen, Trump's ex-lawyer and fixer, claims that he paid hush money on Trump's asking to cover up an affair with adult film star Stormy Daniels, claims that Trump denies. Trump's attorney, Will Scharf, spoke to Fox News about how he had viewed Michael Cohen's testimony so far.
Michael Cohen, I believe, has just completely collapsed on the stand under withering cross-examination by President Trump's trial team. At this moment, I don't think there's any further need to call into question Michael Cohen's credibility, because I think he has none. I think any fair jury reviewing this record would immediately and unanimously vote to acquit.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com.
That's both James Hetfield and James Brown. At the same time, right? If two Jameses are standing next to each other, will time warp? Is it like two
Maybe.
Steves?
Maybe.
I worry about that when the two Steves are too close to each other. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Is a portal going to open up to another dimension? Will we experience the Mandela effect as a result? Who knows? It's hard to tell.
Knows?
It is Free Talk Live. The telephone number 603-283-6160 if you would like to join us. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
The world-famous Steve Classic.
And Rich.
Free Talk Live.
Miralax. That's it. We've been vindicated now. Ding, ding, ding.
All right. Free Talk Live is brought to you by LibertyMinded.com. Official Free Talk Live gear, like T-shirts and hoodies, are now available at LibertyMinded.com. Plus, you'll find a unique collection of cool and funny liberty-oriented clothing at LibertyMinded.com. That's LibertyMinded.com. All right. Speaking of the number 2 story, which we were talking about in the previous segment, where the headline is, Woman Gets DIY Poop Transplant, Ingests Pills with Brother's Fecal Matter to Combat IBS Systems. Is
this a fad treatment?
Ozempic?
It seems like it might be. It might be the newest fad.
We're trying this thing.
Yeah. It says that she gained some weight and suffered some acne similar to her brothers, who also donated the stool. And we can talk more about this number 2 story, but first we have to go to certainly our number 2 caller, right?
Wait a second. Before we go to that caller, don't we have a little intro for him?
Oh, no. That violates my nap.
No, it doesn't. No. Let's see. Where is it?
It'll definitely wake you up from a nap.
Where did it go?
Oh, no.
It was here a minute ago. Oh, there it is.
All right, let's go.
Are we ready for it? We're not even ready for it.
Always ready for it. Always ready for it.
Always be ready for it.
What kind of engineer are you?
It's an earworm. This is stuck in my head.
On the line again. He keeps calling, talking about evolutionary capitalism. I don't want to pick up, but it's calling the radio show. Yes, I'll have to listen to Skeeter ramble some more.
Yes, you are. What's on your mind, Skeeter?
Guess we'll have to let Skeeter ramble some more.
First, I'd like to address Gigi. Hey, Gigi, where did you get your law degree from? A cereal box or Gonzaga University? Hopefully a cereal box. Gavin Newsom 2028. Hey, Gigi, try growing some integrity and a few more brain cells and tell these ANCAPs these ANCAP apes when they're wrong.
Why being so anti-Semitic
when they try to perpetuate libertarian economic and legal fallacy and stop giving them false confidence in their reasoning abilities. Gavin Newsom 2028. But anyways, beside that.
Objection. Asked and answered.
Is he trying to do subliminal programming?
Gavin Newsom 2028.
I wanted to talk about
Taco Bell?
The benevolence of government, Like going off like
that's an oxymoron.
Butchered again.
That's like jumbo shrimp, man. Benevolent government.
Oh, jumbo shrimp.
Government benevolism?
He mistranslated the court rulings of duty to protect. You guys don't even know what that means.
Well, we're talking about duty in the previous hour.
Duty's talking about duties. I don't know if that contradicts itself, but I want to talk about the benevolence of government.
The duty to protect. We got it wrong. So they do have a duty to protect.
Wrong.
The government does have a duty to protect.
They have a job duty to try to protect. You understand that?
I know the difference. I know what Yoda said, do or do not. There is no try.
Try is a lie.
Yeah, they try. That's all they're obligated to do. They can. So
that's not a duty. That's an attempt.
All those court. You don't even know what a duty of care is in tort law. It's tort law that these judgments are. These,
tort? Like cherry tort?
Is that like jury duty? Like I tried to get to there and I just didn't.
It's called a civil liability.
I made an attempt to get to jury duty. It just didn't happen.
Look,
it's a duty. I tried.
To protect means?
What's that?
Do you understand what to protect and duty means? Do you understand what to protect? So if someone is shooting at you with like a 50 caliber, and I jump in the middle, right? And that 50 cal just goes right through me and right through you and just kills you. Were you protected?
No.
Exactly. Did I try to protect you?
You failed. Yes.
Yes. If I had a duty to protect you under tort law, you could sue me. But I'm dead.
Except you're dead. Yeah.
If I live, but. Yeah,
yes.
If I live, so that would mean under tort law you could sue me.
I could sue you because you failed to follow through with your duty.
But I tried. You
Then
understand?
I wouldn't be able to sue you. The
Unfortunately-
fact that you failed brings up the tort because you failed your duty.
But your failure.
You now need to make
allows
amends
the
for the
suit to happen.
failure.
But the way you guys present it, you guys know this. You guys equivocate between duty to protect, like a job duty to try to protect. You try to convince gullible hippies into thinking that the police don't care about you. There's no repercussions to failing to protect you.
There isn't. That was part of the lawsuit. That was part of the lawsuit. It said like they're supposed to protect me, and the Supreme Court said they don't have to.
Look, that's tort law. They cannot get sued. They're immune from a civil suit. They can still get fired, and they can still get thrown in jail for dereliction of duty.
But they rarely,
And
if
they
ever,
do. It all
do.
the time.
No, they don't.
They do all the time.
No, they don't.
Even I mean,
they're always
Yes, they do.
exonerated.
I even got.
Yes, they do. No, they
I got
don't.
into an
This
argument
isn't
with
an
the
argument.
girls
This is
on
a simple
Tuesday.
contradiction. The game saying of the opposite of the other, what the other one says. Thanks for the call, Scroder. 603-283-6160.
He had a duty to protect me. He failed, and then in his own claim said that I could then sue him for that failure.
Yeah. Seems cut and dry.
Wrote a song about him.
Seems cut and dry. All right, speaking of duty, let's move on to the rest of this number two story.
The number two story continues.
So this gal, Kepke, gained weight, suffered hormonal acne similar to her brother's after ingesting these microbial pills made of fecal matter.
Yummy.
Poop pills.
Subsequently, Kepke opted to switch donors and utilize stool from her boyfriend. However, shortly after, she experienced depression akin to her boyfriend's.
Wow.
So I think the moral of the story here is don't take pills with fecal matter.
or again, take it from somebody who's like thin and handsome or beautiful if you're female. Right?
Or Tom Brady, maybe.
That's
He would
a
have good-
perfect donor.
He would be a good donor, right?
That is that is as close to the perfect male specimen as you can get.
Yeah, you could. He could probably.
I don't even like the
He
Patriots.
could start a line of poop pills.
You
and-
guys, I was gonna say, you know how like these famous people have, you know, their own clothing line or whatever. Now they're gonna have their own fecal pills.
Poop pills. Yeah, be more like me.
Oh my god.
Eat my
That's
poop.
horrible.
Hey, guys are already buying bathwater from like
I know
internet chicks.
people are disgusting.
This at least has a medical thing.
Or
Supposedly.
potentially, yeah, potential. I don't know.
Reflecting on this, she
They're
remarked,
just clouding the water at home. On the,
Clogging something up.
She
Clouding.
Speaking of the depression that she began to suffer after taking or using her boyfriend as a donor instead of her brother,
a donor,
and suffering from depression. Reflecting on this, she
never go
remarked,
ATM.
Over time, I realized depression was worse than it's ever been in my life. Later, Kepke went back to using her brother's stool, noting in the documentary that her depression went away within the week. So, weird. So if somebody you know is suffering from some sort of medical malady and you use them as a stool donor for these microbial pills, you can inherit their illness, whatever they're suffering from.
Yep. So again, find yourself a healthy, good-looking donor,
like Tom Brady.
Like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Well, what if, like, could you perhaps inherit their, I don't know, their
ability to throw a football?
Throw a football.
No,
throw a touchdown.
I'm going to be a millionaire.
How about ability to accumulate wealth? Right?
Sure.
Like an entrepreneur or something, right? A serial entrepreneur, somebody.
Well, now you're going to get Elon Musk donating.
I think it sounds like it's well. No, I mean, if depression's not really a physical
it's not mustard.
thing,
It's mustard.
Mustard. Look for the brown bottle.
Pardon me. Would you happen to have any gray poupon? But of course. All right. Thus ends the number 2 story.
You have to tune in next week to hear another one.
That is just bizarre, man.
But this is like the second or third time we've talked about this very topic.
I know, but
it's
how?
But it's getting more detailed about the consequences of.
How did this become? How did this start? Right? Like
Someone with a fetish.
I know that like if you own dogs, occasionally dogs will go out in the yard, and if there's some bombs laying around, they'll eat one.
them. Yep.
You know what I mean? And so, like, did a veterinarian discover this and go, "Hey, I wonder if this works on people"? How did That's what I want to know. Who started this trend?
Right. Again, it's a fetish. I'm going to say it's a fetish. Like, ever since I started doing the thing, My acne's cleared up and I feel better.
Since my pit,
You sound like an infomercial.
yeah. Since the pit bull's been eating the poodle poop, it's a little more
Its hair's a
calm.
little curly.
Its fur is way softer than it used to be.
Right. Not quite as aggressive.
His mange went away.
What we're going to do is we're going to feed the rats rat poop and see how they react. Then the human trials.
This could be a human trial. But is it like a biohack or something like that, they said?
There's going to be some nefarious like psychiatrist, psychologist, doctor who goes like, I know how to cure you. I've gotten these pills that I sell.
Are you sitting down?
It's my very own brand.
It's my own brand. Private brand. Private label.
They take advantage of patients.
It's like the old, like in the Old West, they had like the traveling salesman selling snake oil or the elixir to cure all.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just basically a bottle of heroin.
You'll know it really works. You'll know it really works when Alex Jones starts advertising it. Super Bill Vitality poop.
InfoWars store.
It'll be his own line, though.
Yes.
Dr. Jones Naturals.
Don't you want to be more like Alex Jones?
Wow.
Overweight with high blood pressure? I mean, I don't think he takes very many of his products.
Speaking of things affecting your bowels.
What?
Alex Jones. Segueing from Alex Jones to bowels.
This from themirror.com.
Another reputable source. Massachusetts
teen death linked to viral social media spicy chip challenge.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You guys have heard of this?
Caveat emptor?
Yeah, there's like one chip.
The one
in
chip challenge.
in the coffin.
We had some hosts. I think it was Conan and Arya.
Yeah.
Did the chip challenge.
They
live.
did more than the chip challenge, man. They were eating just straight up peppers.
Oh, I thought they had the Reaper chip or something. They did the chip challenge.
They might have done that, but I think they went straight. I think they also did the straight peppers.
I only watched a brief portion of that, whatever they were doing, and they both were like,
yeah,
they couldn't talk.
And
their faces were red. And
what
they
I
were
know
sweaty.
about Arya is Arya and probably Conan could handle the one chip challenge without a doubt. But I think the Free or Talk Live video, they ate straight peppers.
Wow.
Like I think Conan grows them or something.
Wow. Like, dude,
correct me if I'm wrong, dude. You're going to be on the show at some point.
I can't eat the spicy. Right? I can, but man,
doesn't like you.
I got to have the mild version. You know,
Okay, right.
when they're like, "How many stars?" I'm like 1.
Yeah, we don't want another number 2 story, please.
2 tops, right? Depending on how mild one is, right? You know, but I got to try the 1 first to know if how
far can you push it?
You know, sometimes I'm like, whoa, even 1 is way too much for me. But sometimes I'm like, I can push it. I could probably have 2, but that's. Yeah.
When I eat spicy food like that, as long as it doesn't take away from the flavor of the food, like I think spice enhances flavor. And when it starts to detract away from the flavor, then you've gone too far.
If it's just heat, you might as well just...
Right, yeah. When you're doing spice for the sake of spice,
Then
like
it's
how
done.
hot is it?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't,
Then that's when it's a challenge. Right? We're just going to eat the pepper for the sake of burning our mouth and getting clicks on social media.
Yeah.
We need the dopamine to offset this spice.
I mean, it's better than the Tide Pod challenge.
Well, so my mom sent me curry cubes from Japan. When she went to Japan, she brought home some curry. She would, here, try
curry
this.
cubes?
It's little, looks like the number 2 story.
Oh, and you
of
just
curry.
add water to it?
And you just throw it in whatever you want and make curry.
Gotcha.
Right, and this was like number 3 spice on the box. And so I made it. I didn't do anything to it. And it was bland. Like you could taste the curry, but it had 0 heat. And so I went, well, that wasn't very spicy at all. And so I grabbed another box, and this is,
Went up to
recently.
number 4.
Well, it went to number 5. So I did the number 5, and knowing how mild the number 3 was, I added some extra, red peppers to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, that had some heat. But it still tasted like curry.
Right.
Wasn't
with
just stupid.
Right. It wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
But, now I know, now I kind of know where the heat is, right? So next time I'm like, well, I'll do the number 3 with some extra spice or the number 5 without it.
What's the highest level?
Number 5.
Oh, 5 is as hot as it gets. Okay.
So if you like, if you really like it spicy, then you like number 5 and then add a whole bunch of other stuff.
Right.
He'd like it to spice.
He does like it to spice.
So Harris Harris Wollabaugh, a 14-year-old boy from Worcester,
Worcester.
Worcester, spelled Worcester.
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 Massachusetts.
Spell it like it sounds.
Massachusetts.
Wustah. Worcester.
Worcester, Massachusetts. Died of cardiopulmonary arrest following a participation in the One Chip Challenge.
He was also vaccinated.
Yeah. I see how they're trying to cover this story up.
A teenager has
He was
died
also vaccinated.
Yeah.
after eating a spicy chip as part of a social media challenge, authorities have said.
Authorities.
He ate the chip and then got beat up by bullies. But we're going to blame the chip.
Yeah.
The 10th grade boy named Harris Woolabaugh, from Worcester, Mass., tragically lost his life on September 1st of 2023, 2 days after taking part in a social media challenge involving a spicy tortilla chip, according to an autopsy report.
Now it's also the Mexicans' fault. Couldn't have been like
famous.
a Lay's potato chip. World famous. Yeah. Lay's potato chip. Extra spicy.
He was discovered unresponsive at his home by police and rushed to the hospital, where sadly he lost his life. His death was attributed to cardiopulmonary arrest in the setting of recent ingestion of food substance with high capsaicin concentration.
Okay.
That's a nice rhyme. Capsaicin.
So it wasn't the
concentration.
coincidence, it was the chip. So the chip caused the heart attack.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
The capsicum.
Right, but they'll blame anything. It's called ABV, anything but the vaccine.
Yeah.
Anything. It was the chip. It was whatever.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is, but it wasn't what it actually was. Well,
he had
we
a
don't
heart
know.
attack from eating spicy food.
I mean, how many 14-year-olds have died? Like thousands.
More
Thousands.
recently than ever in history.
Incredible.
Woolabaugh, age 14, who attended Doherty Memorial High School, had an enlarged heart and a congenital heart defect, the report noted. The One Chip Challenge was an internet challenge in which participants had to eat one extremely spicy Packy Carolina Reaper chip.
That's why we need to ban TikTok.
And avoid eating or drinking anything afterwards. The challenge was tried by celebrities and social media personalities, and it garnered criticism for negative associated health effects.
Good job, Free Talk Live.
After Woolabaugh's death, Packy withdrew and discontinued the chips from any further sales, recalled the chips from stores, and indefinitely stopped publicity for the challenge.
How much are they on eBay now?
Oh, right.
Oh, man. The aftermarket?
Yeah.
Grab a magic rectangle.
Was it Packy Tacky One Chip Challenge?
Let's see. Packy One Chip Challenge. Yep. It's in the shape of a
coffin.
It's a coffin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a big skull on it.
Yep.
And the chip
Who
itself appears to be black with some like sprinkled red dust or something on it.
Packy One Chip.
Paqui.
I've got it here.
Very well.
A 6-pack is $39 on the Echo Bay Trading Company
Interesting.
website.
What was the normal retail?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the Echo Bay
Yeah, no, I get
Trading.
it. But I'm just curious as to how significant.
How much was
a
an
markup-
original
yeah,
one?
How much of a markup is six for $40 now? That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Here's a single one. It's $9.
Okay.
21% off. I don't know.
The cause of the teen's death was determined on February 27th. Wait, so he died in September, and it took him 5 months to determine the cause of death?
Autopsy. They have to rule out vaccine trauma.
I mean, they just do that by saying we've ruled it out.
Okay.
There's nothing to actually rule out.
Well, then they have to find a suitable excuse.
Which apparently they've done now.
Blame
he
the
ate a
chip.
chip.
Blame the
Now
chip.
we have our scapegoat.
It was determined on February 27th, and a death certificate was released to the Worcester City Clerk's office.
Worcester.
On March 5th, according to Elaine Driscoll, a spokesperson for the Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security. The Packy chips sold individually for about $10.
There you go.
Came wrapped in foil in a coffin-shaped box containing the warning that it was intended for the, quote, vengeful pleasure of intense heat and pain, unquote.
For entertainment purposes only.
Why don't they just call it the sadistic chip?
It seems like that would be a better joke, like on Super Bowl Sunday.
Right? Oh, you put that one chip
you dump
in.
out all the chips and you just
throw that one in
there.
there. It's like a Russian roulette.
Yeah.
It's like what the.
That's worse than mixing Skittles with M&Ms in a bowl.
Oh, that's just ooh! I'm offended.
Just thinking about it. Right? Imagine you reach in and grab a little handful of that, and
you lose friends like that.
What the hell am I eating? Yeah. The warning noted that the chip was for adult consumption only and should be kept out of the reach of children. I'm assuming in the eyes of the law, 14 is not recognized as an adult.
Can you imagine having to like show ID to buy a chip? Not even a bag of chips.
Just
one
a
single
chip.
chip.
Single chip.
Shrinkflation.
Sir, I would like to purchase this chip. Are you 21, kid?
Sorry.
We're going to need to see some ID.
Yeah. Despite the warning, children had no problem buying the chips, and there had been reports from around the country of teens who got sick after taking part in the chip eating challenge. Among them were 3 California high school students who were taken to a hospital and 7 students in Minnesota who were treated by paramedics after taking part in the challenge in 2022.
Yeah, you got to work your way up to that, man.
Yeah.
You build a tolerance to spicy foods.
And, teens are far more, I don't know.
Stupid?
Willing to take risks.
Well, we did that in elementary school.
Yeah.
The Nibbits chips. Are you familiar with that thing?
No.
Okay. It was like a little rice cracker.
Okay.
But really spicy.
Uh-huh.
So it was like, 50 cents in the candy machine or whatever. You buy the bag of chips, and it's like, can you eat the whole bag without drinking water? Because they were spicy.
Oh, right.
And that was like the big thing. No, I finished the bag.
Right.
And you're just thirsty.
Right, like Pop Rocks. Like eat the whole bag of Pop Rocks.
Well, but these were spicy,
like
though. Like, by the end of the bag, they had some heat. Not the one chip heat, obviously.
Right.
But for elementary school kids, like that was the
That's
challenge.
hot, yeah.
But it was in the vending machine.
Well, it was
you
could
provided
buy
by
this,
the school.
Yeah, you could buy this stuff anywhere, I guess. They have it on Walmart and Amazon.
The challenge called for participants to eat the Packy chip and then see how long they could go without consuming other food and water. Sales of the chip seemed largely driven by people posting videos on social media of them or their friends taking the challenge. They showed people, including children, unwrapping the packaging, eating the chips, and then reacting to the heat. Some videos showed people gagging, coughing, and begging for water, just like our co-hosts did when they did the spicy challenge.
Spicy challenge.
They could do just take the spice off of the chip and rub their eyes. That would be.
I
another
accidentally did that one time.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I didn't do it.
Buffalo
like
sauce or whatever they still.
Well, no, it was. I went to a sushi place and they had a spicy. They wanted me to sample spicy sauce, so I did it. Dipped it in my finger, and then I went about my day. And then I went home that night and took out my contacts. Thought nothing of it until I put my contacts back in the next morning.
You poor bastard.
And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't open my eyes for like 10 minutes.
Wow.
I'm like, good thing I get ready early because I just buried my face in the pillow and just pressed on my eyes.
Yeah, no.
But 10 minutes later, I could open my eyes. I'm like, that was.
I was making burgers for some friends, and in some of the burgers I chopped up some jalapeno and mixed it in so they could have jalapeno burgers.
Yeah,
I liked them.
Delicious.
Oh, the seeds are what get you.
I didn't make them for myself. I made regular burgers for myself, but
hey, you guys eat these jalapeno burgers.
But I did. I cut up the jalapenos, with my hands. I washed my hands and everything, but at some point I rubbed an eye.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Oh, I'm like wishing I had an eye wash station. I dunked my head in the kitchen sink and I pull the sprayer out of the thing and I'm just going,
Did I cut peppers today?
Yeah.
I put my contacts in. What do I do?
Spicy food challenges have been around for years, from local chili pepper eating contests to restaurant walls of fame for those who finished extra hot dishes. People around the world have been daring each other to eat these fiery foods, with some experts pointing to the internal rush of competition and risk-taking.
Yep.
There's more Free Talk Live on the way. 603-283-6160. Hour number 3 still to come.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. Search and rescue operations are still underway in Iran after a helicopter carrying the country's president crashed. Ibrahim Raisi was travelling with Iran's foreign minister when the helicopter was involved in a hard landing, according to Iranian state media. Everson Stuart Smith reports from neighbouring Iraq.
The reason it's mountain climbers, the Army and the Red Cross medics travelling by road and not, for example, a helicopter or aircraft is the conditions where this helicopter had that so-called hard landing are incredibly difficult for rescuers. Indeed, the president of Iran, the foreign minister, but also the governor of the East Azerbaijan region of Iran and also the supreme leader's representative of East Azerbaijan. So a serious political a host of politicians in Iran that are currently unaccounted for.
US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has been in Israel to discuss ceasefire talks and try and dissuade the Israeli military from launching a full-scale assault on Rafah. The Biden administration is concerned about the hundreds of thousands of Palestinian civilians who are sheltering in the area in the most southerly point of the Gaza Strip. It comes as Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz has threatened to resign if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu does not set out a post-war plan in the next 2 weeks. Everson Sarah Coates reports from Tel Aviv.
This would certainly create a lot of headaches for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Firstly, Benny Gantz brings a lot of military experience to this position. He's a former defence minister and he is a lot more popular than Netanyahu, with the latest polls showing that if elections were to be held today, that Benny Gantz would win, Netanyahu and his ruling Likud party would lose. Now, what it could really do is actually prolong this war in Gaza.
An attorney from Donald Trump's legal team has said the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, has completely collapsed under cross-examination. It comes ahead of Cohen's return to the witness stand on Monday, where he'll continue to be grilled by the former president's legal team. Cohen, Trump's ex-lawyer and fixer, claims that he paid hush money on Trump's asking to cover up an affair with adult film star Stormy Daniels, claims that Trump denies. Trump's attorney, Will Scharf, spoke to Fox News about how he had viewed Michael Cohen's testimony so far.
Michael Cohen, I believe, has just completely collapsed on the stand under withering cross-examination by President Trump's trial team. At this moment, I don't think there's any further need to call into question Michael Cohen's credibility, because I think he has none. I think any fair jury reviewing this record would immediately and unanimously vote to acquit.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail today at the visit to Beijing by Russian President Vladimir Putin. He was there on Thursday for a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping at the Great Hall of the People in the Chinese capital. The two men signed a joint statement pledging a new era of cooperation between their two countries. At their last meeting back in February, they said there were no limits to what China and Russia could accomplish together. Sir David Omond, former head of Britain's intelligence gathering service GCHQ, is now a visiting professor at King's College London.
We shouldn't forget that President Xi is the dominant figure and one needs the other more. So
they have quite a lot in common. They've got a dislike of liberal democracy. They've got a dislike of what we bring, which is a respect for individual rights as against collective duties to the state. And they've got a dislike of what they see as the American-led global world order, and they'd like to have their own world order.
In their joint statement on Thursday, the two leaders agreed to work together on issues including Taiwan, North Korea and nuclear technology. This was Vladimir Putin's first trip outside Russia since being re-elected, and analysts say it sends a clear message about his determination to find common cause with China in an effort to challenge Western dominance. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And the main news again, search and rescue operations are underway in Iran after a helicopter carrying the country's president, Ibrahim Raisi, crashed. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has been in Israel to discuss ceasefire talks and try and dissuade the Israeli military from launching a full-scale assault on Rafah. And an attorney of Donald Trump's legal team says the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, has completely collapsed under cross-examination. That's Feature Story News. Nick Harper reporting.
The manatee is a solitary creature, drifting along in the warm, peaceful shallows. They are not usually held in a small glass enclosure with 3 other male manatees hell-bent on the violent forced sex that I, for real, saw with my own eyes while alone one night at SeaWorld, San Diego. A distant relative of the elephant, the manatee has a prehensile upper lip which it uses to gather food. It also has a large penis. Classified as endangered, human boaters often cause serious wounds to manatees' flippers, rendering it difficult for this one poor little rescue manatee to escape a large male manatee intent on unwanted anal intercourse. One needed not to look in that little manatee victim's cold, soul-sapped eyes to know this was not the first time this had happened, nor would it be the last.
This is the Onion News Network.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. It's Sunday.
When we talk, it moves.
We're here.
When we talk,
this is where we are.
The music doesn't move it, but our voices move it.
All right.
That's just a nice way of saying we have some technicalties.
Please continue.
Please stand by.
Please continue the show.
We're still going to do the show.
Still doing the show. It's fine. We've dealt with technicalities before. We'll deal with them again.
I think
it's Gremlins.
The meow 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 segment will come out. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, let's stop talking about it.
Okay.
In the studio tonight, it's myself, the world famous Reverend Captain Kickass, joining me.
World famous Steve Classic.
And world famous Richie Rich.
If you would like to become a world famous amplifier, you can visit amps.freetalklive.com, amps.freetalklive.com.
It's a new level above platinum.
World famous. I want to say thank you to JCOM3030. JCOM3030 is a diamond level amplifier.
Wow. I want to know what that is.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know if I've heard diamond before.
This might be my first time reading diamond level as far as an amplifier is
World
concerned.
famous is above diamond then.
My flabber is gasted.
Okay.
Thank you, JCOM3030, for your contribution. What does this contribution go to? Well, AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. And that just is a fancy way of saying get us onto more radio stations and more platforms. Help us become even more world famous than we currently are. And it's difficult to do.
We can finally get on X.
if you if you
formerly known as Twitter,
if you enjoy the hosts, the co-hosts, the topics, the callers, the perspective of freedom, liberty, peace, prosperity, etc. that we bring to the airwaves, please consider becoming an amplifier over at amps.freetalklive.com. Thank you again, JCOM3030, for your generous contribution. We appreciate you.
I feel like it's going to be really generous.
Consider becoming a diamond status.
Did either of you consult the magic rectangle?
For the diamond? No.
I did not.
Jeez, man.
I don't think it goes that high.
Slackers.
How does Patreon even work? It's probably magnets.
It's magnets. How do they work? Oh, I can't see it because I can't see the regular page on this computer because, well,
we'll figure it out.
I'm admin. Yeah.
We're now both on the magic rectangle.
Right. Stand by for a magic rectangle update from the co-host of the world famous.
We don't have a producer tonight.
Talk show Free Talk Live.
I'm actually going to just check my email and let Steve do it.
All right,
he'll beat me to it anyway.
No, there will be no beating of each other on this show, unless it's for ratings.
Find a creator. Free
amps.freetalklive.com.
I'm there. Oh wait, I'm on blog.
Creating a member join for free. Silver, gold, platinum. Oh, there's 6 more tiers.
Whoa.
Diamond, $50 a month.
$50, wow.
Elite, $100 per month. Full hour sponsorship, $2,000 per month. Oh, it said there were 6 more. That's the last one.
Well,
and world famous.
They might have been edited.
Okay.
So
maybe there's 6 total.
Anyway.
Okay.
JCOM 3030 is the man.
$50.
Appreciate you.
That's $50, dude.
That's like the new 20.
That's unfortunately true.
You should probably, for diamond level, you should probably read that promo again.
It's really the new 5.
It's the new 5.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm done talking about this chip thing.
Okay. What do you want to talk about then?
There's not much more here. That is a great question, Richie.
Worcester.
I'm not ready to go there yet.
Snuff the Worcester.
Do we have any callers that can save us from ourselves?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Here's one from thesmokinggun.com.
Ooh, reputable news.
Those are real journalists.
This is our second.
They are because they well, I mean,
it's a smoking gun.
Well, but they also just take the police report.
Right. So they're actually doing something.
This is sort of our second number 2 story. It's a double flush.
Double flush?
Double flush.
Double flush.
Double flush. Just in case you didn't know, we're playing the sound. Hopefully the sound's going out.
Yeah.
Of the flush.
We don't know.
With the free talk or LRN, whatever it is, whatever the dump button.
Free Talk Live.
It's got a flush behind it anyway. I feel like the flush is completed.
Okay.
You know,
the
sometimes
tank is refilling right
now. It's rebuilt the buffer.
You know how some of those toilet tanks have it's one round button on the top of the tank, but it's got 2 half buttons.
Yeah, we talked about this last week.
We said that last week. We needed a number
5.
A number 5 button.
What if you push them both down simultaneously?
It just goes to the number 2 button.
Really?
Yeah.
Override number 2 overrides number 1.
Right.
Because here's what happened. Right, this is another governmental interference thing. Toilet tanks used to be 5 gallons.
Right.
And the government went, well, that's too much water.
Yeah, we're wasting water.
We must make a law where it's now 3 gallons.
It's probably not even a law. It's
a regulation.
It's a regulation.
But the manufacturers must follow in the United States. So now toilet tanks in the United States, when you flush, are 3 gallons.
Okay.
And what happened was not everything goes down after 3 gallons, man.
So you need to double flush.
So you have to double flush. So now instead of wasting 5 gallons on a flush, everyone's flushing 6.
6.
So to combat this, they now cut the first flush in half because you don't need 3 gallons for number 1.
Right.
So now the number 1 is a smaller flush than the number 2 flush.
So they're making up for it.
Which is still only 3. So now you got to number 2 twice and still use 6 because they haven't repealed the regulation.
I'm wondering if there's an aftermarket where you can modify your toilet to be 5-gallon tanks. Or just like a good old flush, 5 gallons.
3D printed tank, man. What are they going to do?
What are they going to do?
You can't stop the ghost flush. Once people start manufacturing bigger tanks for your toilet flush, it's over.
And that's the tanks we get.
Yes.
That's the tanks we get.
As anarchist libertarians, this is the tanks we ought to have.
Ghost tanks.
How big is your flush? I got 10 gallons.
I got 10 gallons.
Every time I waste 10 gallons of water.
So you can...
Looks like a cowboy hat.
You can do a thing as either a child or an adult that makes it so that you don't necessarily have to flush.
Go outside?
Well, I'm just going to read this headline from this next story, and you'll get what I mean.
Ooh, provocative.
Man busted for battery with his soiled diaper.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So a guy...
See a MAGA guy? Because apparently MAGA people are wearing diapers for some reason now.
Really?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Make
They're probably
America go again?
I don't know.
It's probably something where they're going to collect them and then send them to the White House.
Is that what it is?
That's what my first thought would be.
I've seen like a couple articles on it. MAGA people are wearing diapers, like diapers for Trump. I don't get it.
Really?
I've like dived zero past headlines on this one, but I did see pictures.
I don't know, but
I'll research that.
Magic rectangle.
Diaper remnants were found on victim's torso, police report. May 15th.
He left it on his torso?
May 15th. Add a soiled adult diaper to the long list of strange items used as weapons during alleged batteries in the free state of Florida.
Ooh.
A Florida man.
Okay.
Florida man. It didn't start with Florida
this
man.
This story just has made the entire show. It's a double flush. It's a Florida man, right? It's our second number two story, right?
It's the double flush.
It's a trifecta. But it's not a trifecta.
Can it get any better? Let's find out.
Because Florida man gets reported so much, a lot of these smoking gun articles are Florida men.
Yeah, they should just change their name to Florida man.
And smoking Florida man's gun.
Something. After responding early yesterday to a reported domestic battery in St. Petersburg, that is, cops gave this account of the alleged incident. Quote, the defendant threw a diaper at the victim, striking him in the center of his torso. The diaper contained urine and other feces. Unquote.
Urine and other feces?
Some of those poop pills that had
man,
some spares?
Cops aren't hired for their writing prowess.
Okay.
Apparently.
Obviously.
And it is a quote, so
all right.
I'm assuming they copied and pasted from the report.
Okay. Continue.
May I?
You may.
All right, thanks. It's Richie Rich Talk Live.
You wish.
No, I don't. Investigators say that the confrontation began when Damian Caston, 18, began arguing with his brother about ongoing domestic issues. Caston, cops reported, is paralyzed but ambulatory by using his upper body. After Caston damaged walls inside the home, he allegedly became aggressive towards his sibling, and a witness toward his sibling and a witness, and attempted to throw items at them. At that point, Caston's brother and the witness lifted and carried the defendant outside for the safety of all and dialed 911.
Just dumped him on the lawn. What are you going to do? Crawl back in here?
Seen above, Caston then allegedly... They probably said that to him. Seen above, there's a picture here of the guy. He's got a face tattoo above his right eye.
He's got a fro and a fro beard.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're that handicapped, the likelihood of getting a job is slim. So you might as well get a face tattoo.
Caston allegedly removed his soiled diaper and threw it at his brother, striking him in the chest. Remnants of the diaper were seen on the front porch and on the stomach of the victim, a police officer noted.
Remnants of the diaper? Or remnants in the diaper?
Remnants of the diaper, it says.
Yeah.
Who called the cops?
Because it was after he damaged the walls of the home, he became violent. His brother and the witness then lifted and carried the defendant outside of the safety for all and dialed 911.
Okay.
So either the brother or the bro.
Okay, so they hadn't gotten hit in the chest with the diaper yet.
Well, he was getting violent.
I get it.
Yeah, they're probably like, oh, yeah, well, we're calling the cops on you.
I mean, my point is,
and then he threw the diaper.
If my handicapped brother threw a diaper at me and it hit me in the chest, the next thing that happens is he gets a hug.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
He's not going to run away. He can't. I'm just going to smush that right back on him. Right? Like, oh, come here, buddy. Come here.
It's sticking to me.
Time for some brotherly love.
Guess who can walk back into the house and take a shower and who's going to smell like duty out on the porch all day?
No other weapon was seized by police. I'm sorry, no weapon was seized by police, according to
Except the diaper.
an arrest
Yeah.
affidavit. No, I think they're saying that even the
Projectile.
diaper was not seized.
We need a lawyer.
Seized for evidence.
Charged with
Imagine the burp on that one.
charged with domestic.
Open the evidence bag 2 months later.
Charged with.
Sorry, go on.
Charged with domestic battery, a misdemeanor. Caston was booked into the county jail from which he was released Tuesday afternoon on his own recognizance. A judge has ordered Caston to have no contact with his brother and granted the accused man a one-time visit to his home in the presence of police to retrieve his personal belongings.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's one comment that says, "What? No weapon was recovered? The dirty diaper is the evidence."
See?
So, you know.
Right.
They've got to keep it for evidence.
They got to keep it for evidence, right?
Like that's
Ziploc-
part of the court process.
Right. Now we have to open up our evidence bag. Oh.
I once was
Not to be confused with a colostomy bag.
Right.
I once was found not guilty for selling cigarettes to a minor because the stupid cop thought I was going to like take a deal or something and like left it at the police station. So they got all the way through the trial. I'm like, "Do you have the pack of cigarettes?" Like, "No, we left it at the station."
Wow.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
A win is a win, man.
Yeah, I'll take it, right?
That's pretty good, man.
But the laser eyes that the judge gave the prosecutor and the cop, right? Like, "We had him dead to rights. You guys went and left the one piece of evidence."
Where's the evidence?
We don't have it, Your Honor.
Out.
With prejudice? Yes, with prejudice.
You know, one of the states that I dislike the most is New York.
Okay.
And well, just
because it's one of the most dangerous states.
No, just because it's one of the most like. First of all,
it's called the Empire State.
It's called the Empire State.
It's also called the Big Apple. And those are delicious.
New York, is it New York City that has the? I don't know. Was it the 13th world's largest army?
Yes,
something like that.
The New
I
York
don't remember
Police
what
Department.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what number it is, but it's
huge.
It's bigger than other countries' armies.
Correct. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very, very draconian with their laws and all that kind of stuff, and what you know how much control they want to have over you, and it's also super expensive.
They have a lot of stupid
Not
laws
New York
there.
State as a whole. Like there's rural areas of New York
Manhattan,
State where,
pretty much.
you know, but like New York City for sure, and anywhere in the general New York City area, the greater metropolitan New York City area.
That includes most of Connecticut. I just
And
had to throw that in there.
This from NBC News.
NBC News.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams proposes immigrants as a solution to the lifeguard shortage because they are excellent swimmers.
Nice.
That sounds racist.
It does. He's black,
I mean,
though.
that is.
Isn't he black?
He's a black dude, yeah.
okay.
So yeah, he
gets a
can't
pass.
possibly be racist.
Can't be racist.
Oh, okay.
Are they good swimmers?
Can't be racist because of his color. That's the most racist thing that could be assumed about anybody.
They're all excellent swimmers.
They cross rivers. They cross oceans. To
Right.
get
I guess
here.
they have crossed in.
The only obstacle
Rio
is
Grande.
the only obstacle is that we won't give them the right to work to become a lifeguard. Adams said.
Just let them work.
Yeah, just let them work.
What's the
regular jobs.
government restriction preventing them from becoming lifeguards? And then remove that. The only thing stopping them from becoming lifeguards is some government program.
Well, they're here illegally.
That's a government program.
Right. So they got to take care of that first.
Yeah. So just let them be here and then let them work as lifeguards.
Right.
Should they want to?
They're excellent swimmers.
Allegedly.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams suggested immigrants as a possible solution because he said they are excellent swimmers. Adams was asked at a briefing Tuesday whether lifeguard staffing at the city's pools and beaches would be an issue as Memorial Day approaches. He responded by asking the reporter to imagine that the city could expedite work for work licenses for immigrants.
There you go.
And asylum seekers for jobs that are in high demand. Yeah. How about just remove the requirement?
You put up your own barrier, man.
We can't hire them because they need a license.
They need a license to do this job. So just remove the license requirement.
Right.
And
if
even,
they're excellent swimmers, they prove it.
He even makes the argument for you. How do we have a large body of people that are in our city and country that are excellent swimmers, and at the same time we need lifeguards, and the only obstacle is that we won't give them the right to work to become lifeguards?
Because you are the obstacle.
Yeah.
Mayor.
Recognize the city's
Grab
deputy,
a mirror, homie.
City's deputy mayor for Health and Human Services, Ann Williams Isom, said there are more than 197,100 migrants in New York City and 50,000 applicants or applications pending for asylum.
All right.
They're all great swimmers.
Adams said, so we have all these eligible people waiting to work with the skills we need to fill the jobs, but we're unable to allow them to work because bureaucracy is in the way.
Yes.
Duh.
Yes.
That just does not make sense.
No.
End
doesn't.
quotes.
Sounds like we need more government.
No, we don't.
No, that's what she would say.
I know you're being sarcastic.
How is this so obvious to him?
We live in crazy world, bro.
Okay.
From a bureaucrat.
We
This
live
is too much
in
bureaucracy.
crazy world.
That's how bad it's gotten.
Where yes, it's that obvious. Yes, the solution is right here, written down, said by the man himself, but he
hamstrung
recognize it.
as the mayor of the city. Has no power or authority to remove this obstacle.
Because there's too much bureaucracy.
Because there's too much bureaucracy.
Coming from the mayor.
Mayor, your role is just a figurehead.
Yeah.
Just look pretty at the press conference and shut up.
So they're going to hire these people for 3 months, right? For summertime. And then what? They're going to be unemployed. Or are they going to be a lifeguard in September, October, November?
I don't know. I mean, ice cream shops here close down in the winter. They're
talking about beaches. I mean,
I get it, but it's just the opposite, right? You find work else during the off season,
right? Raking leaves,
whatever. They're good at it.
They're good at raking leaves. They're good swimmers.
Mayor Adams also referred to other in-demand professions, including food service work and nursing, that migrants could be fast-tracked to work in. What does that mean?
Probably a government program that fast-tracks them.
Fast-track. How does one fast-track?
It means lifting the restrictions.
Well, that's what it means to you and me, right? We get that. But no, he's talking about, like, adding more bureaucracy to the existing licensing programs for these professions where somehow it speeds up.
Right. We need a fast-track department.
That's all you white folk.
Right. That's what's going to happen. They're going to create the Department of Employment Fast Tracking, and they're going to fast track licenses for the most vacant jobs.
Right. And it's going to take 4 months to fast track them.
all you white people,
instead
you
of
have
the
to
normal
go to,
2 years.
You have to go to school and get a degree to become a nurse.
Right.
We'll fast track. All you migrants,
we'll fast
just
track.
pass this test.
Right.
Same thing with lifeguards. I'm pretty sure there's lifeguard certification and all that kind of stuff that's
I'm okay with certification.
Needed.
Yeah.
I mean, just training, right? You know,
just because they're good swimmers doesn't mean they're a good lifeguard.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, very good point.
Get them on the fast track.
The mayor's office said by email Tuesday night that Adams has been touting immigrants as a potential solution to the city's labor needs for several months.
You don't say.
Duh.
They've been the solution to labor needs in America since the founding of the country.
Yeah, since well before I was even born.
Yeah.
Like a long time.
The Chinese built the railroads. People forget that.
Yeah. And before the bureaucracy grew to the size that it is.
Made a movie about it, Shanghai Noon.
Before the bureaucracy grew to the size that it is, people could just get jobs. People could just be paid in cash under the table. This has existed for longer than I've been alive, right? And obviously, with technology and everything, now they can track everything better. And so, like these, the ability for these people to get jobs is less and less. They have to take jobs that are cash only, under the table type jobs, labor work. They're not even making, whatever minimum wage is wherever they're at, that kind of a thing. So yes, government, get the hell out of the way. Let people hire whoever is qualified for the job. Get the hell out of the way. Eliminate licensing when it's not necessary.
It's never necessary. Just eliminate it. It's never necessary. There's not one thing that a license provides that a voluntary certification wouldn't be just as
right. The only thing the license provides is a fee to the government.
Right.
It's the only thing a license
like
provides.
I said, I'm fine with certification, but if you go to the doctor and doesn't have the certification, then you kind of know what you're getting.
Right.
Right. Maybe you go to the nurse without the certification. It's just something minor and you got the sniffles.
Yeah.
Right. Not everything requires it.
Right. Maybe you need to go to a licensed masseuse. Maybe you need to go to an unlicensed masseuse.
Yes.
Depends on what the pain is.
Mayor Adams.
Maybe a regular lactation consultant here is sufficient. You don't need a board one or a certified one.
Mayor Adams has been clear that there's nothing more un-American than not allowing someone to work. A spokesperson for Adams' office said, anyone who is trying to make more out of the mayor continuing to make that point today is missing the forest for the trees. So is the mayor. Oh, my God. Whoever wrote this is just as moronic as the mayor himself.
Urinalist
with a capital U.
It's like they were... It's like they replaced the mayor with a robot that has a clue. Like, it's not all the way there. It's an AI mayor. It's got the gist of it, but not quite the entire plot.
603-283-6160. Do you believe that licensing should be eliminated completely? It's Free Talk Live. Give us a call.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people like passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. Search and rescue operations are still underway in Iran after a helicopter carrying the country's president crashed. Ibrahim Raisi was travelling with Iran's foreign minister when the helicopter was involved in a hard landing, according to Iranian state media. FSN Stuart Smith reports from neighbouring Iraq.
The reason it's mountain climbers, the army and the Red Cross medics travelling by road and not, for example, a helicopter or aircraft is the conditions where this helicopter had that so-called hard landing are incredibly difficult for rescuers. Indeed, the president of Iran, the foreign minister, but also the governor of the East Azerbaijan region of Iran and also the supreme leader's representative of East Azerbaijan. So a serious political a host of politicians in Iran that are currently unaccounted for.
US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has been in Israel to discuss ceasefire talks and try and dissuade the Israeli military from launching a full-scale assault on Rafah. The Biden administration is concerned about the hundreds of thousands of Palestinian civilians who are sheltering in the area in the most southerly point of the Gaza Strip. It comes as Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz has threatened to resign if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu does not set out a post-war plan in the next 2 weeks. FSN Sarah Coates reports from Tel Aviv.
This would certainly create a lot of headaches for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Firstly, Benny Gantz brings a lot of military experience to this position. He's a former defence minister and he is a lot more popular than Netanyahu, with the latest polls showing that if elections were to be held today, that Benny Gantz would win, Netanyahu and his ruling Likud party would lose. Now, what it could really do is actually prolong this war in Gaza.
An attorney from Donald Trump's legal team has said the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, has completely collapsed under cross-examination. It comes ahead of Cohen's return to the witness stand on Monday, where he'll continue to be grilled by the former president's legal team. Cohen, Trump's ex-lawyer and fixer, claims that he paid hush money on Trump's asking to cover up an affair with adult film star Stormy Daniels, claims that Trump denies. Trump's attorney, Will Scharf, spoke to Fox News about how he had viewed Michael Cohen's testimony so far.
Michael Cohen, I believe, has just completely collapsed on the stand under withering cross-examination by President Trump's trial team. At this moment, I don't think there's any further need to call into question Michael Cohen's credibility, because I think he has none. I think any fair jury reviewing this record would immediately and unanimously vote to acquit.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com.
Good job.
And we're back.
Steve
And
chose not to
we're
participate in the Hold Your Breath contest.
He likes doing the repetition, the harmony in the background, whatever.
He does.
Hello, yeah.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Cookie Monster.
And we're back.
And we're back.
That sounds like, oh God, what was the bad guy's name in Inspector Gadget?
The Claw.
That's the guy.
The Craw.
I'll get you, Gadget. I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
Yeah.
Never next time.
It's Free
That was
Talk
always the
Live.
next time.
Well, never caught him.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
It's Free Talk Live. We're live in the studio.
Okay.
It's the final segment of the evening. And we have more to talk about. But first, Free Talk Live is brought to you by Forkfest.
.party.
Yes. Free Talk Live brought to you by Forkfest, happening June 13th through the 16th at Rogers Campground. Rogers Campground. There we go. Had to get the rolling R in there. Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Forkfest is a fork of the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Forkfest is decentralized, so there's no ticket cost and no one is in charge. For more information and to connect with other attendees, you can visit the unofficial website.
Forkfest.party.
That's
Forkfest.party.
Nice.
It's world famous.
World famous Forkfest.party.
Wonder what that website has.
Oh my gosh.
Well, now you got to buy the domain because someone's going to do it.
World famous
Forkfest.party. This is a very long note, but I'm going to have to make it because, the mayor said it. So
the note?
I'm making notes for the show that go on the podcast.
We don't understand what type of bureaucracy is. What was the quote? See, he was complaining about the
New York
bureaucracy.
City mayor ironically figures out the problem to employment,
but overlooks it.
But
to keep his job, he
just
ignores
goes
it.
Way over his head. Way over his head.
Way over his head.
This from Daily Mail. Whiplash segue.
Ooh.
Why being a man's man could add years to your life, according to a new study.
Because you don't get punked out for being a little wuss.
Men with low levels of testosterone may be suffering from more than low energy and a lack of sex drive. Researchers from Australia and Europe found men who had low levels of the sex hormone below normal limits had up to a 10% higher chance of dying from any cause compared to men who were within the normal range. The hormone keeps muscles strong and lowers fat, which probably protects against diseases associated with obesity, as well as falls and injuries, according to the research.
Falls and injuries?
Really?
I would think the fat would protect a fallback. Just like bounce off the ground.
As a man born with excessive testosterone, but hasn't prevented me from putting on the pounds.
Okay.
But if you fell, you would probably be okay.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not wearing a life alert yet or anything. So.
When was the last time you fell?
I did fall this winter.
Okay.
I slipped on some ice and landed on my butt.
Okay.
In the yard on the ice.
All right.
But it wasn't it was just a whoop.
You didn't take a terrible tumble down the stairs.
No. I'm just like, oh look, I'm on the ice now.
The snow beat me.
Time to get up.
Yep.
Luckily, there was a snowbank right there that I could get some traction in and get myself back up. So
right.
But before that, I think the last time I don't know if you'd call it a fall. I have a bad back.
Okay.
And every now and again, the only way I can describe it is I hear a loud pop, like a bang, like somebody's shooting a gun at me, and then I wake up on the floor.
Oh, okay. Like you lose consciousness?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the pain just like bam, right? And
Okay.
So, but the last time it doesn't happen very often anymore because I kind of figured out like how to walk and how to lift things properly.
It's a good age to learn that.
All that kind of stuff. It's been some time that I've learned that, but the last time it happened, I had taken the trash out. I was done taking the trash out, lifting all the heavy things, and I was putting a new liner in the trash can. And somehow the pop happened while I was doing the most menial portion of the job, the lightest weight thing that could have possibly been in my hands was. And, for whatever reason, just putting the liner in the can, like, bam! And then I woke up on the floor, and I'm like, I guess that happened again. And, of course, my back's in great pain for some period of time. Occasionally, I do own a cane. Occasionally, I have to, crawl into the other room where the cane is and that kind of a thing and get it and walk on it for, a couple of days a week, something like that.
I think one of the foolish things I did when I threw my back out was lay on the ground.
Okay.
Why?
I mean, like,
why? Because I couldn't get back up, man.
Oh,
like how was that gonna? Like, oh my goodness.
Well, but like, I mean, if it's so painful that you can't get up, all you can do is lay on the ground, right?
Right.
Well, no, but I injured it while standing.
Okay.
And so I labored from like the injury point back to an area.
Down. I see.
And then I'm like, man, this hurts.
Yeah.
I should lay down.
And then
I struggled to get back up.
Yeah.
Right. Did everything like tighten up and kind of like did you get knots in your muscles, stuff like that?
Just my lower back.
Yeah.
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 And then the pain subsided, but it was like painful for a week. I also remember being younger.
Mm.
Like someone go like, oh yeah, I threw my back out. Like I was bedridden for days. I went, that's
really?
Well, I mean, he was old.
Right.
I was young.
Right. Like, how could you do that?
Yeah.
Like, easy peasy.
Well, but I see how it could be done, and I still I need a back brace from Amazon, so I ordered a back brace and like suffered for weeks wearing the brace. Picked things up with my legs, straight up, straight down.
Researchers we already covered that. Doctors have drawn attention to a silent epidemic that affects men with very low testosterone, male menopause, aka manopause.
What?
We got a portmanteau in there though, so I'm okay with that.
Menopause.
I'm okay with the portmanteau.
Yeah.
Like with women, the term is used to describe the period in an adult man's life when his hormone levels crash, causing a host of symptoms that shatter sufferers' confidence or are outright debilitating, including erectile dysfunction, depression, anxiety, and rapid fat gain.
That's why you need the Super Male Vitality.
From InfoWarsStore.com.
Don't become a wussy, man. Get your vitamins. Say your prayers. Take your vitamins.
Something about the gay frogs.
They're turning the frogs gay.
That's right. They are.
That turned out to be true.
It is absolutely true. It is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Don't doubt Alex Jones.
Well,
on a long enough timeline, he becomes more right.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
Further right?
More correct.
More correct, yes. Not necessarily right.
Not depends on your usage of the term.
Yes.
Yeah.
I use the synonym to help you understand.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please and thank you.
I like
asked and answered.
I like Synonym Toast Crunch. Or my breakfast cereal.
Speaking of low vitality,
I've got Cinnamon Toast Crunch like seasoning. Like it's actually branded Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Put it on.
What do you put it on?
Whatever you want. I mean toast, obviously, but whatever you want.
Tacos,
bananas, whatever. Pancakes.
Oh, pancakes.
Brussels sprouts.
Sure, if you eat Brussels sprouts.
Cinnamon toast Brussels sprouts.
But I'm a man. Put on my steak.
Cinnamon toast
T-bone. Filet.
Porterhouse.
Prime rib. Cinnamon toast prime rib.
There you go. Brother.
Previous studies have shown conflicting and inconsistent findings in the influence of sex hormones on aging men. However, the newest review of 11 studies consisting of more than 24,000 men provide more clues.
It's because old doctors didn't want to admit it.
However, the newest review of 11 studies consisting of more than... Oh, we said that. The researchers found men with less than 213 NGDL of testosterone had a higher risk for all-cause mortality than men with less than 153 NGDL. I don't know what those measurements are.
Just compare it with
we
whatever
should not
you
be
measure.
doing medical stories.
An increased risk of dying from heart disease. The team added that very low testosterone concentrations might also indicate someone has another health issue.
Or they're a woman.
Like diabetes, HIV.
No, it's 2024, man. Doesn't matter.
X.
Autoimmune diseases, chemotherapy. Wait. Indicates someone has another health issue?
Like chemotherapy?
Like chemotherapy?
That's a health issue.
Okay.
I mean, it radiates you, man. It kills the cancer and other things.
It kills you and brings you back.
Leading to a higher mortality risk.
Well, it kills you, and then the good stuff brings
you back. Right.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be doing medical stories. Oh, wait. Do we have
let's go to a caller then.
What's your medical ailment, caller?
What's your theme song?
Hello?
I want my sound effect.
Oh, yeah.
We do have
the captain is slipping.
Hang on. Hang on. I'll put you,
We'll do it
put you
again.
back on hold.
We're going to do this again.
Take two.
Man, what's her song
The
again?
number 2 take.
Which one's hers again? I can't remember.
I don't know. Keep clicking, though, because it's not that one. That's not that one.
There it is, Desert Dreams.
Yep, that's the one.
All right, let's see. Are we ready for that?
Yep.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Oh no, we got to reset it.
No,
just
we were
rewind
not
it.
ready.
Got to rewind it.
This is how to do poor audio engineering.
He went to school for this.
Cue it up.
Cue it up.
I've learned
Have
how to
it ready to go.
Backsell it. Ready?
I've learned to be a poor audio engineer.
In the heart of Mexico, there's a gal named Sarah, selling trinkets down at the park underneath the endless skies. She's got turquoise rings and dream catchers hanging from her car, living by her own rules, chasing dreams through desert dunes. Sarah's got that Southwest charm. Always
All right. That's enough of that.
Gotta find a good spot to end it.
Yeah.
May need to make a radio edit.
Sarah from New Mexico, everybody. You're on Free Talk Live.
Selling trinkets down at the park.
Thank you for my song. Yes, I just want to bring up that state of Texas. They're going green energy, and I'm just completely baffled. It's amazing.
Okay.
Have you done your homework on the lithium mines yet?
Oh,
that's right.
Nice
she had an
callback.
assignment. I forgot.
She had an assignment 2 weeks ago.
But what I noticed that in El Paso they were getting electric buses, and I have seen a lot of wind power energy, and they were doing a lot of solar energy that I saw on the TV show.
Okay.
So they're making most of their sun power and their wind power.
Are they doing that at night?
I think they got those windmills or something that turns the turbine. But my conclusion
Kills
was
the birds.
that, well, I've always felt like that Texas was a oil state. That's the way they make money, and I thought everybody in Texas was for the oil.
I thought Texas was the Chainsaw Massacre
it's
state.
Not true. Like that movie, The Dynasty, wasn't there about the oil? Texan
No, it was Dallas.
people or something. That,
TV show.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Who shot
JR?
JR?
Yeah, but the thing is, again, it's like a handful of greedy, selfish people that put their propaganda out that everybody likes money. Only they have the money. Everybody else, most of the people in Texas are poor. So that's a misconception that they put out.
Most of the people everywhere are poor.
My conclusion is what good is having money and good economy when you're dying from cancer, when you can't breathe the air, you can't drink the water? I mean,
because if you have the money, you can afford to not do those things. That is for the poor.
But you still got to breathe the air, and you still have to. I guess if you have the money, if you're the oil barons like the Dallas people, the Dynasty people, you could get a $8,000 a home water purification system.
Yes.
One guy tested my water, and they said, "What's the cost? $8,000 to install it."
That's cheap.
I don't know.
Millionaire.
My water filters I think cost $100 a year.
Okay.
For water filters
But
from a well.
The point is, this is kind of like third world country stuff, right? The poor live in those, dirty river. Bad
Is that a new
air.
kind of music? Third world country?
It is now.
Wrote a song about it.
We'll see what AI has to say.
Anyway, go ahead.
Third world country.
But the wealthy people are not going to live near the factories, right? They're not going to live where the manufacturing is done. They're not going to live near the smokestacks. They're good. Even if they don't even live in the state, they'll move where that stuff isn't, and they'll breathe the cleanest air and drink the freshest water. And the people that won't do that are the poors, the people working in the factory, right? Before we had, coal mines. I mean, we still do, but like mining was a thing.
Right.
And all those people, made money for their family, lived a low middle class life, and then died of black lung in their 40s.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Also known as silicosis.
Okay.
The technical term is pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
We shouldn't be doing medical stuff.
There's a few that Captain knows.
Okay.
But either way, that's, the owners of the mines didn't die from black lung or whatever the captain said. I'm not going to try to repeat it. Right. They sold it. They took their money and they lived away from the facility. And that's the benefit of being wealthy. So if you want to breathe the freshest air and drink the cleanest water, Right?
Be wealthy.
There's a path to that.
Yeah, get wealthy.
Get wealthy.
Right. It's like being a millionaire. It's easy.
Well,
Except the first thing is getting $1 million bucks.
Oil baron from Texas.
What's-
You know, if you're like the owner of the oil baron, you make all that money. You're the one that's causing all the pollution. But you could get the water filtration system. You could get ionizer inside your house. You could get the HEPA filter.
And they have it. Guaranteed they have it.
Well, so, but I'm just happy that things are turning around finally. Well, you know that European girl with autism that you talked about? That was her comment. You know, we're having worldwide crisis with our pollution, and just because of your economic growth, you want to pollute our planet even more. And the comment is, how dare you? How dare you think that way and do that? So.
Well, absent the state, you would have the tort, right? If you could prove that their facility damaged you in some way, and you could prove it in court, right, then you could sue for damages. The problem is, and this, I'm sure Skeeter would maybe agree with me, those things are difficult to prove, man. So it just doesn't happen. If you can prove it, you can get paid. If you can't prove it, then it's just, you can't even be sure that's what's causing it.
Well, I was listening to a car show. We had the car show, and the EV, electric vehicle, consumers, they were afraid of the turbo charge where they charge it up really fast, and they were paranoid about it. Like they were scared and made the battery hot. Turns out it expands the battery, and it does get hot.
Yep.
But what it does is it'll charge up really fast until you get to 80%, and it'll slow down at a slow charge to the last 20% of it.
Yep, and this again was part of your homework assignment because all of those batteries are powered by, lithium in some form or fashion. Cobalt. And they're strip mining other parts of the world in order to provide those people, those EV-loving individuals, with the battery power to drive their EVs to make them feel better about not polluting the environment.
And that's real environmental destruction, where they're digging up that lithium and cobalt. If you saw that.
And they just found a big chunk of it in
Pennsylvania. Right.
Yeah. Oh, man, they're going to be strip mines in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So get that lithium.
Sarah, go do your homework, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for the call.
She hasn't done her homework.
No, sorry.
And in a lot of places, right, the electricity is still powered by coal in the United States. You can't get around it. If you're plugging in,
right, nuclear,
more likely than not,
nuclear.
I wanted to get around to this topic. This is from, again, why do we have all these NBC News articles?
NBC News from a journalist.
I'm asking him. They're mostly your stories. Man gets realistic picture of his boat painted on fence intended
that was
to hide
funny.
it.
That was hilarious.
This is one of those like HOA things.
Yeah.
Right? Etienne Constable was told to build a 6-foot fence to hide the boat from view of his neighbors.
We don't want to see that boat.
But he got an image of the boat painted on the fence.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yes.
And they have a picture of it here.
Stick it to the HOA. Look at that.
I built the fence. The HOA said nothing about painting.
Right.
California man was ordered to keep his boat out of sight, has had the last laugh by commissioning an artist to paint a realistic image of it on the fence that obscures it.
That's great. Brilliant.
Yes.
That is brilliant.
Local government officials told Etienne Constable
government officials
in July that he had to build a 6-foot fence to hide the boat from view of his neighbors.
Who complained?
The neighbors.
Like, we just don't like seeing your boat.
Right. Because we don't have a boat. We don't have
the
a
boat. Doesn't look like any particular eyesore. It looks like it's fairly
nice boat.
It's parked on his property.
But see, the neighbors probably don't have a boat. So they're jealous.
They're in boat envy?
They're in boat envy. I don't want to see that boat because I don't
It makes me depressed every time I see my neighbor's boat.
Yep.
In a lighthearted jibe I think jab was the word they wanted, at officialdom, Constable decided to follow the directive, which said nothing about how the fence should be painted or decorated, and asked local artist Hanif Penny to create a mural that makes it look as if the fence isn't there.
They're going to pass a new law.
Yeah.
All fences in the neighborhood must be painted white.
Right. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen.
Between this shade of white
but he's
and this shade of
grandfathered in.
Yes.
I'm not a rule breaker, but I like to make a political statement as necessary, as well as a humorous statement and a creative statement, he told NBC.
Might as well be a rule breaker, too. It's more fun.
Yeah.
He has yet to have any contact from the city about the mural, but he said he considers it to be covered by the right to freedom of expression as enshrined in the First Amendment. The reaction is extremely more than we ever expected, and we're both just tickled about it, Constable said, referring to the stir the image has made on social media, where it has been shared many, many, many times.
It's like the Streisand effect. They could have just left this dude alone. He would have had a boat, no problems. Now he's world famous.
World famous.
The world famous boat fence guy.
Yeah. What's his name? Etienne
Constable.
Yes. World famous Etienne Constable.
Well, there's a meme that says like you can't have a porch, or no, the porch is taxable. So the guy parked a one of those flotilla boats.
Yeah, it's a pontoon boat.
It's a pontoon boat.
Yeah.
That's his porch.
Yeah,
and they can't tax it.
Right.
I read another one. The guy bought land near a waterway, and so he trenched a path into his property from the waterway, drove his houseboat in, and then filled it in afterwards because there's no rule against having a houseboat on the land, so he just lives in the houseboat.
Nice.
Right?
Well, now I'm thinking about that the meme with the seagull sitting on top of the sign that says no seagulls.
Yeah.
Become ungovernable.
Right. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
He dug a trench, got his boat in, filled it back
Wherever
in.
you find a government roadblock, you got to figure a way around it.
It's usually right around it.
Yeah. Just be creative.
Yes.
Get around it.
Pani, the artist who paints images across the Central Coast area, told the television station, "I'm a big proponent of public art in spaces. It engages people in ways that reaching out and having conversations doesn't sometimes." And Pani added that since the seaside boat mural has gone viral, other boat owners have approached him to see whether he can do the same for them.
See that? Some good out of government, huh?
The same for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Way to stimulate the market.
Yeah. There's real economic growth there.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that didn't take as long as I thought it would.
That's from NBC News.
This from RT. Belgian government will negotiate with prostitutes who refuse sex.
Wait, the government will negotiate?
On your behalf.
Wait a minute. If you're refusing sex, you're not very good at prostitution.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you probably qualify for unemployment.
You're doing it wrong. Opponents say new law will turn pimps into state-sanctioned managers.
It's a better title.
Same clothing, though.
Same clothing, yeah.
Gotta have the cane.
Yep. Check.
Big coat.
Check.
Some shiny shoes.
Check.
Pinky ring.
Yeah.
I got a ring somewhere that fits my pinky.
Yeah, some gaudy jewelry of some kind.
I've got gaudy jewelry, yes.
Right, very well. A new labor law concerning Belgian sex workers will allow a pimp to demand that the government mediate in cases where a prostitute refuses sex with clients too frequently.
Just slap her. Isn't that how you handle this?
That's the old school way of doing it.
So
you just backhand her and put her back on the street.
So they're apparently able to refuse sex at some frequency, but not too frequently.
Well, that's what I said. Right. They'll qualify for unemployment.
I don't want overtime this week, boss.
Anti-prostitution activists say that the law will allow prostitutes managers to further entrench and maintain their power. Passed earlier this month, the law allows sex workers to obtain employment contracts from their pimps. These contracts classify prostitutes as hospitality employees and entitles them to insurance, pensions, unemployment benefits, holidays, and maternity leave.
Maternity leave.
We're out of time. Thank you, Steve Classic.
Thank you,
Richie Rich. Thank you to all of our callers, and of course you, the most important people, our listeners. If you missed any portion of our program, visit freetalklive.com and find the archives. Thanks, and peace.
When commercials come on, don't push the button. Instead, listen. Even if you don't sell things for a living, you're still selling in the various conversations and transactions that make up your busy day. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment, or the Office Max ad that says,